206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888 or
Insurance and property taxes are borrower's responsibility. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker. NMLS 24720.
Let's go!
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma.
this hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto family.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to cue you on the interview.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
All right, here we go with the Brock and Salk Show on Seattle Sports on 710, seattlesports.com, and, of course, the Seattle Sports app. All the podcast platforms, welcome to the Seahawks facility here, the Virginia Mason Athletic Center. We're here this morning, and there's a lot of overreaction I'm seeing everywhere. Let me start by saying maybe we overreacted to the first three games, the way they looked, the way they felt. Everything felt really good. Everything looked great. Mike McDonald's era was off to a phenomenal start. The defense was doing a lot of different things that we hadn't seen in quite some time. Everything felt like it was moving so rapidly in the right direction that it was easy to play the juxtaposition game and say, man, maybe this team's going to be a little better than we thought. Similarly, after watching two straight losses, we're getting an opportunity now to maybe overreact the other way. And if the text machine, some of what came in yesterday, is any indication, people are certainly ready to do that. 425. If that's the bleep we get from McDonald, then fire him and Schneider right now in the middle of this game.
Wow.
Yeah. How about that, Maura? Good morning to you.
Good morning.
How about the equity McDonald built with the fans with this defense? The first three games is gone. You better have some answers for the 49ers. Okay. And then my personal favorite, of course, Mike Salk needs to stop trash talking our opponents because he's messing with karma and jinxing our teams. First, he did it with the
You were very unconvinced that Daniel Jones could, even complete a pass on Friday.
I'm still unconvinced Daniel Jones can complete a pass, but when you're nowhere near any of his receivers, my God. Yeah, first he did it with the Mariners, trash-talking the Angels. We ended up losing 6 in a row. Last week he dogged Daniel Jones and the Giants, and they kicked our butt. Time to give our opponents some respect because karma's killing our teams, Salky. It's not karma, it's your teams.
No, it's your fault.
No, your teams are killing your teams. Beat the Giants, they stink. Beat the Angels, they stink. Nothing to do with me. Don't allow bad teams to beat you. And that's exactly what they did yesterday. They absolutely allowed a bad team to beat them. They did. And I know there's a lot of different directions people have gone with it. I'll sort of go in two, and neither of them is probably going to be among the most popular. One, they got their butts kicked. They were not the better team yesterday. Do I think they're the better team in general? Yeah, I do. I think the Giants are bad. But when you play the way you did yesterday, you're not going to win a whole lot of games. Do I think that necessarily means this is now a bad team? I'm not ready to go there yet. I do think there was a little hangover from the Detroit game. Short week. You had 6 days versus the Giants, who had 10 coming off of Thursday night football. I thought that was bad news when I saw it a week ago. So, excuse me, I got a little sniffles this morning. But yeah, no, I think you got outplayed. I think you got outcoached. I think if that fumble at the goal line is originally ruled a touchdown, I think you get blown out in this game. I think that was the only thing keeping you in it for a long time. I also think that football games tend to get close late, even if they don't feel that close during the game. And I would hope after the nearly 15-year run that Pete Carroll had here, we've all learned that. We've seen it dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of times, where games that you think should be going one way end up being closer and in the end come down to a couple of big plays. I thought this game came down to 3 to 5 huge plays that the Seahawks didn't make. And none of them are the blocked field goal. I got news for everybody out there. I think if that field goal is good, the Seahawks still lose that game yesterday. And I feel fairly confident in it. If that field goal is good, you're giving the other team a minute and a couple of timeouts to go down, and all they've got to do is kick a field goal. That's like bread and butter in the NFL. You didn't set yourself up for a win with that field goal. You set yourself up to tie a game with 1 minute left and give it back to an opponent who you hadn't been able to stop all day. So, yeah, I don't necessarily look at that play and say that was the difference. And I don't know what the rule is. I've been reading since last night. It sounds like everything the Giants did was legal, even if it was frustrating. I don't know why Laken Tomlinson dives to the ground the moment the play starts, but maybe that's what he's supposed to do. I don't know enough about it. We'll find out, I'm sure, today, and we'll talk to Coach McDonald at 9:30. But the game wasn't lost there. That was the result. That was the effect, not the cause. The game, if you want to just go down to a couple of specific turning point plays, happened earlier. DK fumbled again. Listen to this. You remember this play. This was DK Metcalf early in the game as they are moving and marching and gaining momentum and getting into the red zone, and instead it goes the other direction. Can't fumble in that moment. DK has more fumbles.
Sorry, you want to hear the DK fumble?
I guess. Yes.
On 2nd down and 3. Gino's going to throw again. 1st down. Big catch inside. Ball pops out. It's recovered by the Giants. And it's going to be Giants football. DK Metcalf makes the catch near the 20 and coughs it up.
Field is a fumble recovered by New York for a 1st down.
Oh, man, that's too bad.
DK's body language, he knows that it was a fumble.
Yeah, that's his 2nd in 2 weeks. Both have been incredibly costly and have changed not just the obviously field position, momentum, all of it. That one was a 10 to 14 point swing. You were driving with an opportunity to score a touchdown or a field goal. You're already in field goal range, and instead it goes down the other way for 7. That's a 10 to 14 point swing at a crucial point in the game. Later, Gino's decision, again, I'm going to focus more on things that are concentration related as opposed to just being outplayed. Gino, you can't slide 1 yard short of the sticks early in the 4th quarter. It's 3rd and 12. You rush for 11 yards and then you slide. And then Mike McDonald compounds it by going for it on 4th down and calling a play that didn't seem to involve blocking their best pass rusher. Whoops. Well, there's another 3 to 10 points because you give up that not only do you not go down the field yourself, but you give up 3 by putting them immediately into field goal range. And then I know people will want to talk about the block field goal, which we mentioned, but to me, the problem starts before that. You get down into the high red zone area to the 28-yard line, it's 2nd and 4. There's still a ton of time left in that game. And the Seahawks take a deep shot to Tyler Lockett? I'm sorry. I think it's a terrible idea. Terrible. I think it's an awful idea with a minute left to play. Okay, maybe you score a touchdown. I get it. High red zone's a good time to take a shot in general. But the best case scenario there is you score a touchdown and then give them the ball back with a ton of time left. Even if you succeed, it's not a huge win for you. And if it's incomplete, now you're forcing yourself to get a 1st down on the next play, or else even a made field goal gives the Giants plenty of time to score and win, which is what we just talked about. So, yeah, Jackson drops the 3rd down pass. Now you've got a kick with a minute left. The block kick seals your fate. But even if you had tied it up, New York is in prime position to win that game anyway, just because of the way you handled 2nd and 3rd down. So, they got outplayed. They were out-physicaled. They were run all over. They didn't tackle. Their defense didn't stop anybody. I know Trey Brown is going to take a lot of the grief defensively. He had a really tough day. I don't know if you saw his tweet late last night being like, yeah, if everyone's been waiting for this bad day. I don't know if everyone's been waiting for it, but it was certainly a tough day at the office for him. Hopefully he bounces back, and that's not a sign of who he is. He's had a pretty decent career, so I don't think that I'm going to overreact to just one bad day, but it was a real bad day. Offense, I mean, they don't run the ball. They don't try to run the ball. Geno was sacked 7 times. You got a fumbled. You got just not enough movement offensively, and that contributed to them losing the time of possession battle by nearly 15 minutes. So there's a lot of big picture problems. But then you can also, because it's an NFL game, look on the other side of it. And if you're the Giants, you're going, man, we let this team back in. We let them hang around. We made some mistakes ourselves. And then those 3 to 5 plays I mentioned end up costing you dearly. Those are the little things. Those are the little plays that I think actually end up making a difference in an NFL game, even when you're not the better team that day. So anyway, you can look at it both ways. Seahawks got beat, and maybe it's a good reason to reassess where they're at this point, talent-wise, coaching-wise, etc. But also, the Seahawks had 3 plays that if they make differently, completely change that game and give them an opportunity to win. And that fumble is a concentration issue. Most fumbles in the league of any receiver since he came into it. Can't keep happening. That decision by Geno, it's a bad decision. Early in a game, yeah, slide. Late fourth quarter, yeah, you got to probably keep going and get yourself that first down. And then, the 2nd and 4, throw it deep to lock it down the sideline. I just think it's clock mismanagement. Those are all preventable. Getting whooped at times, hey, it happens in the NFL. But those ones, man, those will come back to bite you. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll give you guys everything you need to know. It was a crazy day in the NFL, and Moore's going to take us through all of that in about 20. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Jackson Smith-Njigba is joining us right now. What's it been like with a new offense?
It's been great. I've been loving the coaching staff. They've been, working with us real well. We've been meshing real well. And, I had a good feeling, during training camp and when I first got here. And it's exceeded my expectations. So, we just got to take advantage of everything that we have and just try to put our best foot forward.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
It's Fight Night, live boxing at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. A full evening of boxing action, Saturday, October 19th. Make it a destination event. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this evening of pure excitement. The best in professional boxing. It's Fight Night, October 19th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older. Need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly.
Cressy Garage Doors. Make your home unique and stylish. Have it stand out from the other homes in your neighborhood. The #1 return on investment for your home. Cressy Garage Doors. Since 1952.
Transform your home from top to bottom with State Roofing. Hi, it's Sam Thomason, owner of State Roofing. It's not just about a new roof, it's about a new look for your entire home. Deck out your backyard or give your exterior a facelift with our siding and window options. There's no better time to start than now with our incredible offer. 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Why wait to make your dream home a reality? We do more than just roofs. Visit stateroofing.com. Let's talk about what's possible for your home.
State Roofing, the best roof you'll ever need.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
The first ever Milo's Rewards Week is coming, and it's kind of a big deal. Members Get ready for 7 days of up to 40% off store-wide on hundreds of items. Save on the top brands in home decor, holiday, tools, and more. Our biggest member deals start October 10th, so if you're not a loyalty member, now's the time to join for free. Lowe's knows home improvement. Offer valid 10/10 through 10/16. Program subject to terms and conditions. See Lowe's.com/terms for details. Subject to change.
Are you ready to unleash the beast?
Monster Energy is here to give you the edge this college tailgate season. Loaded with bold flavors, our powerful blend gives you the energy you need to push you beyond your limits. Tune in all season long with Monster, the energy drink of ESPN Radio College Football Tour. Power your performance with a drink that's as hungry for victory as you are. Crack open an ice-cold Monster and dominate your competition. Monster Energy. Unleash the beast. Grab yours today.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
Research shows well-maintained trees significantly increase home values. So there is such a thing as a money tree? Find your next money tree at Big Trees, Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. So while money doesn't grow on trees, reap the benefits of a yard landscaped with trees and increase your property value at the same time with Big Trees. For hours, directions, and to find your money tree, visit BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big Trees.
You gotta love football season, but when it comes to your windows and doors, you don't want any fumbles. Steve Rabel here, reminding you to trust locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their selection of windows and doors can't be beat, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Right now, get 0% interest for 24 months with equal payments or 40% off qualifying installs. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers who chonk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
What does the Seahawks jersey mean? It's football.
Drops back, has time, loads up, throws. It's intercepted! Does he keep his feet in? He does! Seahawks ball!
It's community.
The stands are rocking right now. Nobody has left this place. It is pandemonium.
It's Seattle. This is your jersey. This is the Pro Shop. The Seahawks Pro Shop has the largest selection of Seahawks jerseys. Come try one on at the Landing in Renton or at Lumen Field.
This hour is brought to you by the Harnish Auto Family.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, for the first time this year, I would say the Seahawks did lose to what should be an inferior opponent yesterday. Lots of reasons why. Defense couldn't get off the field. The offense mustered 13 points, really not getting into the end zone for the first 58 minutes of this game. Those are group efforts. The blame certainly can be spread around coaches and players alike. The defense, I think, was probably worse than the offense, but honestly, take your pick. Mike McDonald, cut one, explains what happened on the defensive side of the ball.
We got outplayed and executed today. That's what happened. I thought we made some good adjustments as the game went on. I'm not sure what the numbers are saying, but like we did create third downs in the first half. We didn't get off the field, and then I think some penalties there in the second half. So it's kind of all the way around, all three phases, all three levels of the defense, myself included. I mean, we got outplayed today on defense.
Yeah, I think that's true. And very, very well said. That was the defensive side of it. The offense wasn't a whole lot better. Asked Geno Smith in cut 4. He was pretty clear on how he thought they played and why they lost.
Shoot, we played bad. I mean, that's the reality. We played bad. I don't think we executed well. I thought we came out slow. Talk about starting fast. That's not how we want to start. And then turning the ball over. Not finishing drives. I mean, all of the above. To get you beat. It's the NFL any given Sunday.
That's a shoot, he said right at the beginning of that, right, Maura? We're going with shoot?
Yes.
Shoot. Okay, good. That's what I thought. The good news, well, there wasn't a ton of it, but I guess it's that the division part of your season hasn't even started yet. They haven't played a division game, and they do still sit in first place. Niners lose to Arizona. Both teams are 2-3. Rams are now 1-4 after taking a loss to Green Bay yesterday. We'll have more on all of that. So Seahawks are still the only team with a winning record in the division as they get ready for the Niners on Thursday night.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Well, I'm sure for Husky fans it doesn't quite make up for the loss in January, but huge credit to Jedd Fisch and the Huskies. They take down number 10 Michigan on Saturday after making too many mistakes the previous week. They were the cleaner team. Cut 9, Jedd Fisch happy that his team was able to, clean things up.
I thought our players did a great job tonight. We played a good football team. Number 10 team in the country. And we challenged them all week to be good. Third down, we challenged them all week to score touchdowns when we had opportunities to score touchdowns. And we certainly challenged them all week to not give anything away. Penalties are always going to happen in a game, but what we didn't do is we didn't hurt ourselves in a manner that we could play two teams. I said, let's just play one this week. Let's play Michigan. And I felt our team, our players, our staff did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, it's pretty important. Will Rogers throws for 271, another 80 yards on the ground for Jonah Coleman. But I would say the defense very much the story, right? Alex Orji totally ineffective, benched early in favor of, I guess, slightly better Jack Tuttle. I didn't think he was very good either. Huskies forced 2 turnovers in the second half. That turns out to be the difference. So Michigan falls to number 24. Huskies still not in the top 25. Fans storming the field after the game, much to the delight of Will Rogers, who seemed super excited about just the whole atmosphere, energy, and what had happened. I won't make fun of the fans for storming the field yet. I'll wait an hour until Brock's here, and then I'll make fun of the fans for storming the field, because if anybody knows me and has known me for a long time, nothing is lamer to me than storming the field when you're supposed to be a proud program. When you were playing in the championship game a year ago, why would you need to storm the field? You're supposed to be the big cheese, not the little upstart. When Appalachian State beats Alabama, they can storm the field. When Vanderbilt beats Alabama,
I was going to say, we had a few of those this weekend.
They should storm the field. You're the University of Washington. If you're going to always tell me about how this is a top-tier program, you can't storm the field when you beat Michigan. But I'll wait till Brock gets here.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Tough day for our friend Edwin Diaz yesterday. He gave up 3 runs and let the Phillies come back late. After the Mets tied it up, Nick Castellanos untied it to send everyone home. That's cut 6.
Swing and a line drive, base hit left field. That's headed to the wall, and headed home is Trey Turner, and the Phillies have won game 2. Nick Castellanos with the RBI knock, and the Phillies walk it off. And this series is even at a game apiece.
All right, so that series is fun because, again, sort of traditional rivals near each other, New York, Philly, but also just the back and forth element of it has been kind of awesome. 1-1 as they will now go to New York. Chippy game, though, in L.A. last night. Lyle, you said last week that this is right now currently the best rivalry in baseball, and sure looked that way last night. San Diego takes it to L.A., home run barrage, but tempers flaring. A hit batter ignited some of it last night. So we'll see where that goes. That series is 1-1 heading back to San Diego. American League Series will start back up again today. Both home teams took care of business in Game 1. Yankees and Guardians win. Lots of role players stepped up for both teams. NL teams are off today and traveling very, very long distances. Down I-5 and up 95 to get to their respective opponents' buildings. Hearty congratulations, by the way, to Kevin Martinez. This happened Friday. He was named the new Mariners president of business ops, replacing Katie Griggs. We'll have a little bit more on this later. Maybe we'll talk to Kevin later this week. Good friend, great guy, and a wonderful, wonderful hire for that organization. That is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. All right, Stacy broke that news to everybody on Friday, which is pretty cool. Congratulations to Kevin. Yeah, absolutely. All right.
He's beloved on the show. He's been mentioned many times.
He has. Yeah, he's almost like sort of a pseudo member of the show.
G always likes to bring him up as well. Yeah.
G's a big fan. Does G have a nickname for Kevin? He should probably come up with one now.
Seems like he does for everyone, right?
I know. Yeah. So I'm kind of curious what he'll start calling Kevin now that he's the president. I did get to talk to him on Friday. I sang him "Hail to the Chief." I figured that was only appropriate for the new president. All right. Take a quick break. Come back. Maura's going to take us around the NFL. What a crazy day yesterday. And I know because you were filling in, Maura, for Curtis and doing all the updates throughout the game.
Radio broadcast. It was fun.
Awesome. Well, so you got to see everything that was going on because you had to update it all day. So Maura will have a busy around the NFL next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Geno Smith is in an interesting situation in that he's got 1 year left on a deal that he signed, a 3-year deal, and he's playing very well.
It's all about how do you handle the adversity, and the fact that, he took us on game-winning drives last year, and he has this year. I just feel like he is on point right now. I remember thinking going into this year, he's got to have sort of a bounce back after last year, and it's far exceeded that in my mind.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get ready, because it's here now. One of the biggest heavy equipment and truck auctions of the year. Produced by the Murphy Auction Company, this 3-day event features a huge assortment of heavy equipment, heavy trucks, cars, vans, SUVs, and tools. Like 5 Cat 140H graders, 9 telescopic forklifts, 13 diesel-powered excavators, 6 wheel loaders, 3 skid steer loaders, and a 2009 John Deere 850J dozer. Also find 4 Peterbilt 365 Super Solo dump trucks, 1 Mack Super Solo, and 15 other dump trucks. If you need a tractor or a Vector, we got those as well. And for homeowners, if you're looking for a gas-powered excavator or wheel loader, we got over 140 to choose from. Preview all items at our Marysville location, corner of 136th and State Street in Marysville, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Do not miss this major auction event. Visit murphyauction.com for all details. That's murphyauction.com.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
It's football season, and Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for all the action on the gridiron. With a game-changing rewards program plus an amazing selection of tickets, Vivid Seats ensures that every fan can catch their favorite teams and players in action. Vivid Seats has you covered with deals that cater to every football enthusiast, and all tickets come back by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Just visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This college football moment is brought to you by ServPro.
College football teams have moments they recovered from and made it like it never even happened. For instance, TCU walked into the locker room at halftime in the 2016 Alamo Bowl, down 31-0. The Horned Frogs stormed into the second half and erased a 31-point deficit to force overtime, and eventually won it in the third overtime, 47-41.
ServPro, like it never even happened.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here with West Coast Men's Health. Most guys don't realize that their ED started in their 40s. Symptoms of erectile dysfunction can be slight and subtle, but by treating your symptoms at the onset, you can avoid severe ED in the future. Mild ED is easily reversed at our clinic using our acoustic wave technology. Most men have accepted that ED is a part of getting older, but that's far from the truth. Our acoustic wave therapy has helped thousands of men restore function, whether they're in their 40s or their 80s. West Coast Men's Health also treats chronic pain, including neuropathy, plantar fasciitis, Dupuytren's contracture, and even carpal tunnel. So if this sounds like you, give West Coast Men's Health a call today and see how we can help.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
It's Fight Night, live boxing at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. A full evening of boxing action, Saturday, October 19th. Make it a destination event. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this evening of pure excitement. The best in professional boxing. It's Fight Night, October 19th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly.
If your home heat system is 10 years or older, it needs a tune-up. Your furnace and heat pump work extremely hard, and after 10 years, wear and tear can cause a failure. The last thing you want this winter. Deere Services is now offering a heating system tune-up with a no-breakdown guarantee and no service fees for just $49. A thorough inspection and recalibration for just $49. Visit DEARservices.net. Make an appointment, and we'll be there within 3 hours. Deere Services, Seattle Seahawks small business partners.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, that's true. You are listening to Brock and Salk. Wherever, however, whatever you like to do. She just mentioned HD2, 97.3 HD2. It's a great way to listen to the station and listen to the show. As I said, it's how I listen to the station more probably than any other way. Sounds really good. Crystal clear, 97.3 HD2 if you've got an HD radio in your car. Brock and I haven't really had much of a chance to talk this weekend, so I'm looking forward to going through the Seahawks game with him and trying to figure out what the heck happened and how serious some of these problems are. We'll probably even open it up to you guys at 7:30 because I would like to hear some of your thoughts and kind of where your panic button meter is at, because I was reading some of the stuff yesterday and, this is a bad team, or maybe they're a bad team, and, maybe the talent level just isn't all that good. I don't know. I'm not saying that I don't have that concern. Sure, I got a concern. I think it's fair to wonder about a little bit. Do I think that it's overreacting after a loss to what I think is a very good Detroit team, and then coming back 6 days later to play a Giants team that's not that good, but playing them on short rest when they had extra rest? Yeah, I do think that maybe, look, it's not to excuse the loss. They lost. They got beat. You heard everybody say it, and that's exactly what they should say. But in terms of trying to make a wider judgment of how serious a predicament they're in, yeah, I think I'm going to consider that rather than ignore it. And then to go and have to play San Francisco now on even shorter rest, it does seem sort of ridiculous to have to play this many games in that few days. But that's the NFL, and Maura's going to take us all around it. Maura, what do we miss this weekend?
I am, but before that, on the note you just said, I also think that we fully expected some growing pains coming into this season.
Yeah.
They started off better than we thought they were, so going to. So I think that it's hard to see some growing pains now, but wouldn't it be, I just think it would be kind of unheard of for such a new coaching staff and
Totally
everything new to not have some struggles at some point.
1000% agree. Now, some of that, I guess, is a little bit our fault, right? We saw the first 3 games and we're like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. Did we maybe overreact? Sure. I'll raise my hand and say that I might have overreacted a little bit. But as I sit here today, 5 weeks in, I still feel pretty good. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yesterday stunk, but I still feel pretty good.
Those games happen. It's important how they respond. We'll see. On a short week with all the injuries, that's going to be tough. But
That's right.
hopefully we'll see at least some growth from yesterday to Thursday. All right, yeah, we'll start with the NFC West. Some games that matter to the Seahawks here, because they weren't the only ones in the NFC West that had a rough day. The Rams were facing the Packers, and with the game tied 7-7 with 2 minutes left until the half, Jordan Love threw an ill-advised pass from the end zone, trying to avoid a safety. It ended up in the waiting arms of Rams safety Jalen McCullough, who promptly ran it in for a touchdown.
Just heaves it. Somehow it's caught for the touchdown on the pick six.
I don't know what he was thinking there. He was like already going down and just chucked it just outside the end zone to a defender who was right there waiting with open arms. So, yeah, but he was able to recover from that. The Rams took a 13-10 lead in the half, but things fell apart from them right from the start of the second half. Running back Kyron Williams fumbled, and then Matthew Stafford threw a pick on their first. Those were their first 2 possessions. The Packers scored touchdowns after both of those turnovers. The Rams did manage to score a touchdown to pull within 5. They did not get the 2-point conversion that would have made it 3. That was with about 3 minutes left in the game. They even forced a Packers punt to set Stafford up on a game-winning drive, but his 4th and 5 pass with a minute left to familiar face to us, Colby Parkinson, fell incomplete.
It's one-on-one everywhere. Pass incomplete and no flag. Parkinson was the target. Evan Williams defended it, and the Packers are going to hold on.
So the Rams turn it over on downs, sealing the Packers' 24-19 win, despite the Packers going 1 for 8 on third downs, while the Rams went 8 for 16 in that game.
Wow. That's a crazy stat. You don't see something like that very often. Yeah, I mean, you want to be concerned about a fan base. I mean, the Rams are 1-4, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got a lot more reason to be concerned there. And, you know, I think there was a belief that couldn't happen just because of Sean McVay. Well, you know, last year they were probably a little better than everybody expected them to be. Maybe we're starting to see the other side of that coin this season, because 1-4, I mean, that's a pretty tough start for LA.
Yeah, well, and the Packers are a good team, but they've had some struggles with teams that aren't as good so far this season, too. I mean, they lost to the Bears. They lost 41-10 to the Cardinals. I mean, we'll talk about them in a minute, but yeah, it's been an interesting season for them so far.
100%.
Well, yeah, we'll switch over to the team that the Seahawks will face on Thursday in the Niners. In San Francisco, the Cardinals struck first with a 50-yard touchdown run from Kyler Murray on their first possession of the game.
Pistol formation here, and is Murray on the keep it to Zyber. Kyler Murray! Turn on the afterburners, he's gone!
Kind of sounded like Romo, but I don't think Romo was.
He was definitely gone at that point. Do you see? I saw that the highlight, and just the point he gave when he realized that he was, just green grass between him and the end zone. But what's crazy about it is he actually, he was basically even with everybody else. It's not like he was 10 yards in the clear. It was like he looked up and was like, I'm just faster than everybody else. I'm going to outrun them. I mean, Kyler Murray can run. He can scoot. There's no doubt about it. Do I want him as my quarterback? Absolutely not. No, thank you. Not interested. I just don't love his game. But there's no doubt he can run. And you get him into a spot like that, allow him to do his thing. He's really impressive.
Yeah, it was all Niners for a while after that with a George Kittle touchdown. They had a blocked field goal return for a touchdown. It was a backup field goal kicker in because Matt Prater had an injury. So he was pulled off the practice squad earlier that day. So Diamador Lenore returned that for a touchdown. That was followed up by a Nick Bosa interception of Kyler Murray. So the Niners led 20-10 at halftime, but the Tides would turn in the second half. The Niners did not score another point. Brock Purdy threw a pick on their first drive that allowed the Cardinals a field goal. Then they turned it over on downs. Cardinals scored a touchdown plus a 2-point conversion to pull within one. And then following that, running back Jordan Mason fumbled in the red zone, giving the Cardinals a field goal to go ahead by 1 point. But there was still a minute 30 left, so there was plenty of thought that Brock Purdy would lead a game-winning drive. But this was his second pass attempt that drive.
Purdy decked, floating up there, and it's picked off!
Good. Yeah, I was rooting for Arizona, obviously, right? I mean, you want San Francisco to sort of stay behind you. They still are, your fiercest competition in the division until Arizona can prove otherwise. And give the Cardinals some credit. They're probably better than people thought they'd be. But, yeah, I'm just, it's going to be hard for me to believe too strongly in a team with Kyler Murray. And it's not to say he can't beat you. He's got talent. But consistently to do it 17 times a year, playoffs, etc., I don't think he's that guy. But that doesn't make them dangerous. Does that make sense? Or not dangerous? They're still a dangerous team.
Yes, that makes sense. Well, another interesting note, because the Seahawks are facing them on Thursday, is that the Niners kicker, Jake Moody, was carted off the field Sunday after attempting to make a tackle. Shanahan said it's a high ankle sprain, so he will miss multiple weeks, and they said they'll get a guy in as fast as they can.
Oh, I missed that.
So they may be looking to avoid field goals on Thursday.
Well, they could just do what the Giants did, just score touchdowns.
Well,
that's certainly what Detroit
not.
did last week.
Hopefully not.
Detroit didn't have any field goals, right? Didn't they just score
That seems
6
right.
touchdowns?
Yeah. They didn't have any trouble.
Yeah, they were just
That
fine.
ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cardinals win 24-23. I'm excited to play this sound for you of Sean Payton. So Raiders Broncos in Denver. Gardner Minshew got off to a hot start with a 57-yard touchdown to rookie Brock Bowers. But in the second quarter, he threw an interception to Patrick Surtain. That Surtain took 100 yards the other way for a touchdown.
Minshew looking, throws intercepted by Surtain! Pat Surtain on the run! Nobody's gonna catch him!
He is impressive, man. He has pretty much locked down every premier receiver he's faced this season, and then to do that,
Yeah.
I think he's worth all the money they gave him this offseason.
Sure seems to be. But do I have to give some props to my guy, Bo Nix? It sounds like he had a pretty good day after that.
Yes, he did. So the Raiders started off the second half with a punt and another Minshew interception, allowing the Broncos to take a 20-10 lead. Bo Nix did have a diving over the goal line touchdown and threw another one to Josh Reynolds. So after the Minshew interception, that was enough for Raiders head coach Antonio Pierce. He put backup quarterback Aiden O'Connell into the game, who then promptly threw an interception. Bo Nix did end up throwing for over 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, plus his rushing touchdown for 3 on the day. Seemed like he would be having a pretty good time, but cameras caught him kind of screaming at Sean Payton on the sidelines. And this was Payton's explanation post-game.
Listen, last year, all of a sudden, it's just, there's still a little bit of Ferris Bueller in this player that we got to get rid of. All right, talking about Bo, and I love him to death. And so sometimes it's my love language.
I don't know what any of that means.
Yeah, so don't most people like Ferris Bueller? Like, he's popular.
Yeah.
What do you think he means? Like he wants to take the day off?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't get it.
I mean, again, most people don't put yourself in a. Here's my advice to Sean Payton.
Oh,
and
wait,
I don't know
guess
what they're.
he maybe expanded further. He said it's just funny. Ferris is kind of quirky and doing his own thing once in a while.
Yeah, you know what you don't want to do in life? Don't put yourself in a position to be Ed Rooney. Like, you just don't want to do that. If there's any way you can avoid making a comp that makes you Ed Rooney, you should do that. Like, that's just, nobody sympathizes with Ed Rooney. And instead, that's what now that's what you've done if you're Sean Payton. That's weird. I got nothing for you on that one.
I mean,
but
he's a weird guy.
he is a weird guy. I'll give some credit to Bo Nix. He looked pretty good yesterday.
Oh,
good job
look at
by
you.
Bo. Well, I'm not blind.
All right, I don't know if you saw any of this one. The Ravens and the Bengals duked it out, and that was a really back-and-forth battle that took overtime to decide. Joe Burrow threw for 329 yards and 5 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson threw for 348 yards and 4 touchdowns, plus added 55 rushing yards. He had an insane play with 5 minutes left in regulation where he fumbled the snap, recovered it, ran around in the backfield for, I counted, like a good 8 seconds, and still hit Isaiah Likely for a touchdown to pull within 3.
Likely in motion, he bubbles it, scoops it in, vacuums it home. Here comes Hubbard. Oh, he threw him away like a rag doll. And he throws in the end zone. Caught for a touchdown.
I don't know how there wasn't a holding flag or something on that, but he ended up tying it up for them on the next drive. In overtime, he fumbled a snap again, and this time this time the Bengals recovered, and it looked like they were set for a win, but they missed their 53-yard field goal attempt. And then they let Derrick Henry break a 51-yard run to set up a Justin Tucker 24-yard field goal. And we all know that Justin Tucker isn't missing that. So.
But usually, what's the other kid's name? Evan McPherson? That kid's been money for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I was pretty shocked. That happened right after the Seahawks game started. So I'd been watching Bengals Ravens, and then I was like, all right, well, he fumbled. So obviously, they're already in field goal range. Bengals are just going to win this game.
That's usually how overtime works.
Exactly.
Once
So
all you need is a field goal and you get the ball, you're going to win.
Turned it off. Yep, you get the ball in field goal range.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was pretty shocked when they came on with the update and we're like, actually Baltimore won. It was a good back and forth game, and just good organization, bad organization. That's oftentimes how those things go.
I think I read that when Lamar plays, the Bengals or the Ravens are like 8-1 against the Bengals or something.
What's going on with the Bengals? I mean, the whole Joe Burrow thing is, Joe Burrow, some of the bloom coming off the rose.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe not.
Statistically, he had a pretty great game yesterday, but he did have a costly interception there at the end where they wouldn't have gone to overtime probably without it.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Look, the NFL, everything changes fast. Just when you think one thing is for sure, everything changes on it. So, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Joe Burrow's not one of the elite quarterbacks in the game anymore. It's only been, a couple of years since he was in the Super Bowl. But this has been a pretty precipitous decline for that franchise since then.
Well, and a lot of it's just been that he couldn't stay healthy.
For him.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. Like, the rest of the team isn't good. Their defense is awful. It's just been a very, Cincinnati Bengal-y way to handle having a quarterback that everybody thinks is one of the best in the game.
Well, and Carlos Dunlap, who was here in recent years, he posted something cryptic yesterday, like, sorry to the Bengal fans, and someday I'm going to tell you, like, what really happened, or something along those lines.
Huh.
So it seemed like maybe another shot at the organization.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's a bad organization.
All right, well, we'll get a little bit of your favorite in, Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh. No, I thought you were going to get my actual favorite, Jaden Daniels.
No.
Laura, let me just tell you, I'm obsessed with Jaden Daniels.
Why?
I am obsessed. I'm all in on Jaden Daniels. He is so freaking fun. I have hated the Washington football team my entire life. Since I was a kid. I hated Art Monk. I hated Ricky Sanders. I hated, who was the third member of that group? Gary Clark. I hated I've always hated Washington. Hated them. And then obviously the Dan Snyder era and the name of the team, all of it. They've always given me reasons to hate them. It's been very, very easy for the entirety of my life to just despise that franchise. I'm in love with this kid. He is everything I want in a quarterback. I love the way he plays. I love the way he runs. I love his accuracy. I love his accuracy on the run. I love his creativity. There's nothing I have seen from Jaden Daniels so far that I don't absolutely love. I don't know where it goes. It's a new ownership group. They obviously are not doing things the same way. Defense looks pretty good. He's got a star wide receiver and Terry McLaurin. There's a bunch of good things happening there, but I am head over heels in love. Head over heels. in love with that dude. He's awesome.
Should the Seahawks have tried to pull something off to get him?
Yes, everybody should have. Every team in the league. And I wrote to Brock and maybe you guys over the weekend, like, hey, if you're the Bears, I don't think that you did anything wrong taking Caleb Williams. That guy may end up being a great quarterback. His
He had
start
a really good game yesterday.
He did. This is not a shot at Caleb Williams, who I think might end up being really good. How do you not take Jaden Daniels? Kid's unbelievable. He's got everything you want from an NFL, huh?
Isn't it funny how all these experts before the draft, like...
I mean, he's so accurate.
I feel like we started even hearing more about how Michael Penix could jump up. I felt like I didn't hear that much about Jaden Daniels.
A guy won the Heisman
We knew
for
that
a reason.
that he was probably going to go second, but I don't think he was being talked about the way that Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy and Michael Penix even were.
Totally agree. And maybe because it was just going to be so automatic, like, okay, this is just what's going to happen. But he seems to be the most sure thing in the draft and have just as high an upside as Caleb Williams does. So I'm blown away. I think he is absolutely awesome. And I can't believe I find myself wanting to watch Washington games. It's literally never happened in my life.
Well, yeah,
but
they
it's happening now.
dominated the Browns 34-13 yesterday.
And
on the
it's
other
fun
side
watching
of that,
somebody
who's
just
not
beat
fun
the living
watching
crap out of Watson. It's great.
Yeah, he's awful. 15 for 28, 125 yards, 1 touchdown. Bobby Wagner had a hit on him that forced a fumble.
Oh, wait, Bobby.
He had a good game yesterday, yeah. So
Salk, did you see your other guy, Mikey Sanderson? Yes, I did. I saw him drill Deshaun Wright on the sideline. Yeah, Sanderson looks good too. Totally. Yes, I did see that 206. Thank you.
there was a play, too, where a lot of people were saying they thought Deshaun Watson gave up when Stefanski wanted to go for it on 4th down, but I think they were saying later that it was just a communication issue in the headset.
Yeah.
He was walking off the field.
Well, whatever. Let's blame him anyway. All right, what about Aaron Rodgers? That's always fun to watch when he
I thought
loses.
you'd like it because he struggled.
Yeah, it was great.
So Aaron Rodgers did struggle in London yesterday, throwing a pick 6 and another interception on back-to-back drives in the first quarter. He did end up finding Alan Lazard for a 14-yard touchdown in the back of the end zone to head into halftime down just 7 to the Vikings. Their defense kept them in at second half, holding that explosive Vikings offense to just 2 field goals. And then Rodgers got the ball with 3 minutes left, down 6. So looking to lead a game-winning drive, but Stephon Gilmore had other plans.
Rodgers, quick throw, and it's intercepted. Stephon Gilmore gets the Jets again.
So his 3rd interception of the day. Vikings win 23-17. They remain undefeated at 5-0.
I mean, the Vikings are a fun story, I guess. It's still weird. Like,
It is.
I tried to watch some of that game. I will admit, I fell asleep. So I fell back to sleep. Gertie had gotten me up early. I wasn't really ready to get up. So I got onto the couch. I turned on the game, and then I kind of crashed back out. So I was really kind of listening through, like, in and out of consciousness stream type of thing. So I guess Minnesota's real. I mean, they sure have looked that way so far. But watching Aaron Rodgers struggle it's just so fun because it comes after such hubris. I mean, just such an arrogant son of a gun.
Well, much in the way that Russell did it with Denver, he kind of is trying to run that organization.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's not working.
And it's great. It's just absolutely beautiful. And the Jets are the Jets, and they do a million things wrong, and, like, that's always sort of just, naturally amusing. Robert Saleh is probably going to take the hit. He'll probably end up getting fired when this year is done. But watching Aaron Rodgers struggle, it's pretty great. It's pretty fun. I really don't like him.
I'm with you. As you mentioned, also in Bears-Panthers, Caleb Williams had probably his best game so far in his rookie season, going 20 for 29 for 304 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also added another 34 rushing. This was his 2nd touchdown of the day. He found DJ Moore over the middle for a 30-yarder.
2nd down and 8. Williams, Moore, end zone. He's got it. Touchdown.
Andy Dalton's magic as the new starter for the Panthers. seems to be running out. Although he has helped for fantasy players. Running back Chuba Hubbard returned to form. Hubbard had yet another 100-yard rushing day. I think that's like his third in a row.
What was Clayton's old line, right? Backup quarterback come in, they can win you 3 games, but then they can lose you 3. Maybe we'll put Andy Dalton in that category. Maura, fantastic job. Way to go around the NFL in a busy weekend and a crazy weekend and a bunch of weird endings and weird games. And the Seahawks were certainly involved in one of them. How serious are things? How bad is this loss? What do we take away from it? Brock's in next on Brock and Salk.
When you're running the hurry up and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcast on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
He is your new Seahawks head coach, Mike McDonald.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
All signs continue to point to it being the right hire.
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Seahawks.
The best defense is a good offense. So before the sewer backs up into your home and wreaks havoc, stop freaking and call Beacon. Beacon Plumbing, Heating, and Mechanical is there for you when you need them most. 1-800-FREAKIN or beaconplumbing.net.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
Cressy Garage Doors. Make your home unique and stylish. Have it stand out from the other homes in your neighborhood. The #1 return on investment for your home. Cressy Garage Doors. Since 1952.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and I have had my share of sports injuries, and I know a little bit about pain. Well, that's what football will do to you from head to toe. But you don't have to play professional sports to know what I'm talking about. Painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that's where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine comes into play. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Don't let pain stop you from enjoying life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques, including stem cell therapy. It's a non-surgical solution to pain using your own stem cells. That's right, your own stem cells and platelet-rich plasma to harness your own body's healing potential. Consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD at 425-823-4000 or visit danielnelsonmd.com. That's danielnelsonmd.com.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbors said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm? I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
Febreze.
So my home is also my office. And before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Get his freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Marcus. Sorry about just Mike.
Presented by Simply Seattle.
Heward, not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, rolling along here. It's a Brock and Salk show, and now it even involves Brock. Hi, buddy. Good morning.
Good morning, Michael. Good
How about
morning.
that? Yeah. It is a good morning.
Is it?
I think so.
But is it?
Feels like a good morning. It's going to be 75 degrees here today.
It was gorgeous. Gorgeous yesterday.
Oh, my God. The whole weekend was just unbelievable. Went down to Chambers on Saturday. It was supposed to be crappy out. Instead, it was just freaking perfect, amazing,
You're hitting lasers.
I was hitting darts. Yep,
nice.
all over the place.
Throwing darts at the green. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You know it.
Oh, man.
And then we watched Seahawks game. So that's a bad game, right? I mean, like, they played bad. Is that fair to say?
I think that's totally fair to say. Yeah, in just about every facet. I mean, I had a couple tweets lined up. I'm like, no, let's give it some time. I'm glad I did and didn't overreact and just kind of let the game play out. But there were huge stretches there where I was like, man, other than Jason Myers, is anybody playing good? I mean, is anybody in any phase? I mean, Dixon had another kind of rough game. Special teams was Offense was a struggle, huge struggle, totally out of rhythm. Defense was, I mean, that was that felt like some of the worst games of the last couple of years defensively. You know, couldn't play screens, couldn't stop the run, didn't defeat a block, couldn't make a tackle in space, let him off the hook again and again, couldn't cover anybody, couldn't disrupt a football. I mean, it was, that felt like so many of the defensive games of the last couple of years where you were just catching everything. I mean, you're just catching strays left and right, Salk. You couldn't get ahead of anything and make any play. And, the score not really indicative because you were good in the red zone and kind of limited them. And then you obviously had the just crazy 100-yard fumble return. The score not real indicative of how much the Giants controlled and just punched you in the face.
Yeah, I mean, the kick return or the fumble, obviously.
Eat the ham, Tina. Gosh.
It's definitely, it's one of those things that completely changes the meaning, right? Like the score is one thing, but the view is another.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also kind of the NFL, right?
It is.
I mean, like,
yes, it is.
You stick around, you stay around long enough, you keep the game 1 or 10-point game through enough of it that you can make things very interesting late in the game. And so, I kind of went through this earlier, and while I agree with all of it, right? Like, they were bad yesterday. Mike McDonald said it, Geno Smith said it, everyone who watched them said it. There is no doubt that they played a bad game yesterday, and I think at 7:30 I'd like to hear from some people on how serious they think those problems are. But, man, there's 3-4 plays, Brock, that if you handle them differently, and they're not like, the other team beat you for a touchdown. Mm-hmm. They're mental decisions. They're concentration issues. If DK doesn't fumble heading into the red zone, It's a totally different game, right?
Yeah, I mean, you come out of halftime, right? You kind of slog through a first half where they dominated time of possession. They ran the ball. You hardly had any plays whatsoever. And then you get a stop because they dropped the ball on third down, and you're moving right down the field. Okay, here we go. Right, it was kind of one of those. You could see Dable's reaction, too, after Wan'Dale dropped that ball after beating Trey Brown for the 11th straight time. And you could see Dable like, this is why we're the Giants. This is why we're 1-3. We're not making those plays. And here come the Seahawks, right down the field. Great balance, screen, great adjustments, total juice, total momentum, and then DK just gives it all away. I mean, he just give it all away with more fumbles now than any other receiver since he's been drafted.
I mean, that's a shocking number. When he said that like yesterday, I was fairly blown away by that number. What as a player yourself, and maybe it's different for quarterbacks than it is for guys who run with the ball, receivers and running backs. But what do you attribute fumbles to? Is that I mean, it's not strength. It's not like he's not strong enough.
Nope.
Is it a concentration issue? Why does DK fumble?
Yeah, the challenge, Salk, is once you get exposed like that, once you're a target, you are going to get everybody's best Peanut Tillman. Right, so they know that DK Metcalf can be loose with the football, right? They know how physical he is and how he, wants to impose his physical will. And at times, that means maybe not as much ball security. That one was unfortunate because he put two hands on the ball. Like he knew it after the fumble last week in traffic, and he's trying to run through. He had two hands on the ball, and it still was a really good hit, and he just couldn't hold on to it.
That's a tough one.
That was real tough.
The one that kind of got me was Geno's decision to slide 1 yard short of the sticks early in the fourth quarter.
Correct.
You get a first down there, that drive continues.
Instead, down 7. Yeah, you're down 7.
And you're moving the ball, and you got a first down, and you're kind of off and running around midfield. Okay, great. Instead, you get desperate on fourth down. You exacerbate the problem. You hand the Giants 3 more points. I mean, your defense actually did its job there, but those 3 points end up being incredibly important late in the game. There are times to protect your body, and quarterbacks need to be good about that. But there are other times where you got to move the chains, and I don't think I need to tell you which time that was.
Yeah, that was just a lack of awareness, of thinking that he maybe had the first down, and you could see he looked over to the side. I was like, oh, my gosh, that was not – yep, that was just kind of a bad decision. I mean, DK was, I guess, a fundamental coach talked a bunch about the fundamental breakdowns. That was a fundamental breakdown with a fumble. That was a mental error, unfortunately, to not dive forward. And then you have, again, and I know you're going to get to Jackson's drop. I mean, that can't happen. That just, that ball is on the money. It's going to move the chains. You're going to now, absolutely, well, who knows? Maybe they're going to block that same field goal again, but you're going to give yourself a chance to score. I honestly thought DK was going to catch, and I texted you guys that. Yeah. I thought he was going to catch the winning touchdown pass. You get that first down, and all of a sudden, I thought, boom, you're going to run it again. Maybe they start calling timeouts on the other side. But I, honest to goodness, in that moment, was like, here we go. Going to find a way to win.
You point to the drop on third down, and obviously that's on my list as well. But for me, it starts the play beforehand. I don't understand why. So just to refresh you guys, down 3, you get the ball back with whatever it was, minute and a half left or so, right? You're driving down the field, and with I think it's 1:08 or thereabouts, you get to the 28-yard line, 2nd and 4, and you go throw a deep shot down the left sideline to Tyler Lockett. There was a ton of hand fighting. I don't think there was PI. I think they got the call right? I mean, both guys were just sort of battling for it, and the ball goes incomplete. I just don't get the play.
Yeah.
I don't understand with just over a minute to play. I know that high red zone is a good time to take a shot.
Correct.
But with a minute left, what's the upside?
Well, you're going to go
score 4, there, you're going to give them the ball back with a minute left.
Yeah, but they're going to need a touchdown, and you have a one-on-one situation. And by the way, you got multiple other options. So that was Geno's decision to throw that.
I don't like it at all.
Thinking, okay, I mean, I think that's fair, but that is by no means in the class of these other mistakes.
Well, it sets up what happens on the next play because you stop the clock. But that's a situation where you actually need to be running clock, not saving clock. And instead, with over a minute left, you're gunning for the end zone. Now it's third down, and yes, Jackson drops the ball, which at least is a physical error as opposed to a mental one, maybe. Maybe it's a concentration issue. I don't know. But, both things combined mean that even if you kick that field goal, you probably lose the game.
Yeah, because at that point, it's tied. Now, you throw that touchdown, Salk, you go up 4. So you're going to force them to have to drive all the way.
Yeah, but they have 3
and score a
timeouts and over a
touchdown.
minute to play. I mean, it's a winnable game, certainly, for you at that point.
Yes.
But the upside of it, I don't know, is worth the downside of, hey, it goes incomplete, and then the next one's incomplete, and now you're screwed.
Yeah, there's
because
games like this.
I know people are mad about the field goal getting blocked. Whatever. By the time they were lining up for the field goal, I had assumed they lost that game.
Yeah, it's one of those games in the NFL, and you know this. You watch enough of these games, you can pull games out, 1 or 2 or 3 of these a year, where you're like, okay, we got outplayed, right? But yet we put ourselves in position at home, and yet we got some of these veterans that have been there and done it before, and yet this is a Giants team that finds ways to lose, especially in the second half, and we can find ways to win. And as poorly as you played fundamentally through so much as they dominated the game, 37 minutes to 22 in time of possession, there were those 3 or 4 opportunities that if you capture, you sneak out of there with a win and you're 4-1. And instead you just, oh gosh, I now know why my dad lost 30 pounds of football season. I do. I couldn't eat last night. I was like, I had nothing to do with this game, and I don't even want to look at food right now.
Man, I have exactly the opposite reaction to when things go the wrong way. I was like, I am ordering buffalo wings. I just have a completely different reaction to being frustrated like that. Yeah, I've never had the I can't eat thing. That's never been a thing for me.
Golly, that was frustrating.
Good for you.
You're welcome.
Probably explains why you look the way you look and I look the way I look. But yeah. Okay. All right. Tell you what. Why don't we break for a moment? I do want to hear from the people. I would like to take some calls at 7:30. You cool with that?
I am good. At 7 a.m. callers?
Huh? Yeah, we'll see what they're up to.
The workers, the ones heading to and from work, they're pretty good.
What
usually,
7 a.m.
right?
brings us. We've done a lot of 6:30, a lot of 9:30. It's been a long time since we've taken calls, but I do wonder, because I'm reading people saying that maybe this team is just bad. I'm reading people saying that maybe we overreacted to the first 3 weeks. We probably did, but are we now going to overreact to the last 2? All right, we'll ask you guys at 7:30 after everything you need to know next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
Geno Smith is in an interesting situation in that he's got 1 year left on a deal that he signed, a 3-year deal, and he's playing very well.
It's all about how do you handle the adversity, and the fact that he took us on game-winning drives last year, and he has this year. I just feel like he is on point right now. I remember thinking going into this year, he's got to have sort of a bounce back after last year, and it's far exceeded that in my mind.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and as the leaves are changing colors and starting to fall, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the need for research and treatment goes on. And that is why, we have teamed up with the Harnish Auto Family and the KIRO Milgar Breast Cancer Center to go make a difference. And there's a couple ways you can help really easily. Number one, just go test drive any new or used vehicle at any of the 6 Harnish dealerships. And Harnish is going to donate $25 on your behalf with absolutely no purchase necessary. Another way is to simply go get an oil change or any other service done, and Harnish will once again donate on your behalf. Plus, you'll love the friendly team and how easy we make buying a vehicle. So don't wait a day longer. Go visit Ward up at Chevy of Everett, Erica Key of Everett, Stace at Chevy, Buick GMC, and Volkswagen of Puyallup, or Ryan down there at Subaru of Puyallup as well. And mention I sent you. Let's go make a big impact this month and help out the KIRO Milgar Breast Cancer Center by the end of October. Visit Harnish Auto Family. It's a Harnish Auto Family where people matter.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
I don't want to dig up my yard if I don't have to. That's why I hired O'Neill Plumbing. They're Seattle's trenchless plumbing pros. All rooter, all trenchless, always professional. O'Neill Plumbing since 1917.
Message and data rates may apply.
Breaking news. Contrary to popular belief, now is the perfect time to break into real estate. Educated investors everywhere are buying tax lien properties, something big banks have been doing for years. Now, people in your area can take advantage of this open secret. Tax Lien Wealth Builders is coming to Seattle this weekend for a live event where you learn how you can make real money buying and selling government-backed investment properties for 50 to 70% below market value. Learn how to buy and sell property and navigate the market like a pro at our 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle this weekend. Tax Lien Wealth Builders gives you the tools you need to invest confidently. Get a free wealth building kit when you register and attend a 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle. Text WEALTH to 52346. Hurry. With high demand, seats will fill up. Text WEALTH to 52346. Get a free wealth building kit now. Text WEALTH to 52346.
Tune in this Thursday as your Seattle Seahawks take on San Francisco. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, proud sponsor of the Seattle Seahawks and the Northwest's biggest and best casino.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Lab-grown diamonds might be new to retail, but not to Cantor Diamond. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor of Cantor Diamond. And even though I'm a 4th-generation natural diamond importer, I was the first to import these gorgeous, eco-friendly, low-carbon footprint, conflict-free, real and genuine diamonds to the West Coast. And unlike everyone who's recently gotten on the lab-grown bandwagon, we work with the largest growers in the world to bring you the best possible diamonds at the lowest possible price. We know what to import and what to reject. And because we're importing direct, working in our low overhead wholesale offices and making our own rings, bracelets, and earrings in our own facility, we can offer better pricing than anyone. So work with the leader, not the followers, and let us find you the perfect cultivated diamond for less, a lot less.
Call Cantor Diamond at 253-272-7007. That's 253-272-7007. Or follow them on Instagram at KANTOR Diamond.
My Seahawks jersey is more than just a piece of clothing.
It's a symbol of the unique spirit of my city.
Creating a sense of community and belonging.
A bond uniting us and a love for the game. This is my jersey.
This is my jersey.
This is my jersey.
This is the Pro Shop. You can find your new favorite jersey at the Seahawks Pro Shop. Shop online at Seahawks.com or visit us at the Landing in Renton or Lumen Field.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law. Battle-tested.
Eddie's! Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, I don't know where their records will finally end up when it's done, but it sure felt to me like the Seahawks lost to a team they should have beaten yesterday. Lots of reasons why. Defense couldn't get off the field. Offense, terrible. Mustered just 13 points by themselves. They didn't get into the end zone once for the first 58 minutes of the game, right? It was just before the 2-minute warning that they finally found the end zone. And that's a group effort. That's players, that's coaches, that's scheme, that's decision-making. It's everything. But it was definitely bad. Cut 4, Geno Smith summed it up pretty concisely.
That's cut 4, Lyle?
4.
Lyle, if you're awake, that'd be cut 4, Lyle. Oh.
It's me, Brock. It's me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I like to blame Lyle, not you, Maura.
Shoot, we played bad. I mean, that's the reality. We played bad. I don't think we executed well. I thought we came out slow. We talk about starting fast. That's not how we want to start. And then turning the ball over, not finishing drives. I mean, all of the above. To get you beat. It's the NFL any given Sunday.
Yeah, he's right. When you play bad, you tend to lose, and the defense could probably make the exact same comments. They just didn't play well. You mentioned fundamentals in cut 2. Mike McDonald was pretty clear that that was where the problem started for their team yesterday.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Hello? Hello? Lyle? Hello? I mean, are we trying to play like the Seahawks? What was that?
The cut was my fault, Brock.
I know, but what was that second one?
I still have my around the weekend cut sheet up.
No, I know, but then Salk asked for cut 2. Like, we're playing like the freaking Seahawks right now. This is a Monday morning, all right? We got to be on top of the details, Lyle.
Now, this will give us some more time to talk about the Huskies, Brock. You should be happy. They won. They beat number 10 Michigan on Saturday, and they didn't make mistakes. They were the cleaner team. Will Rogers, 271 yards. Jonah Coleman had another 80. The defense did what it was supposed to do. Poor Alex Orji was ineffective. We'll just go with that word. He was benched in favor of some guy named Jack Tuttle, who sure didn't seem to be a whole lot better. And the Huskies get it done.
Well, Jack Tuttle gave them a little spark there for a few drives. They were actually down 17-14, and I think that's what I like the most about this. There was some resolve and grit to come back and finish. It could have been easy, like, we jumped up 14, crowd is electric, what a scene in prime time. And then, well, shoot, this Tuttle guy and the run and the pass and the mix, and you fall behind, you turn it over. Nope. And they just, man, they did not quit. And so I know it's hard for you, with everything going on in your life, with all that you're doing, shuttling people around, playing at Chambers Bay, trying to sharpen your golf game, watching the NFL all day Sunday.
Yeah.
I know it can be difficult to watch your boy and to watch college football on Saturday, but please, over the course of the season, just find time to watch Jonah Coleman. I
watched on Saturday.
I know you did. I think he could be your favorite Husky.
I definitely like him. I really like that sequence right when I turned the game on in the fourth quarter. That was really fun.
College football is messy.
It was really fun. No, it was good. They snapped. They had a whole play that they decided didn't happen because the center moved the ball. Then they spent 15 minutes talking about it. Then there was a timeout. Then the guy threw a pass nowhere near anybody. And then the guys came out and stormed the field because they won when they were a favorite. I don't even know what to make of that.
Oh, boy.
How are you not ashamed of yourself for storming the field
when you
after winning
10?
a game you were predicted to win?
When you're number 10 and
you were the
2 losses?
You were the favorite.
Oh, don't try to minimize. Don't minimize my prediction. I nailed it.
Your prediction was great. I love your prediction. It was awesome.
Yes.
I saw it. I remember it last week.
Thank
I
you.
want to give you all kinds of credit.
Thanks.
How come you didn't go out and storm the field afterwards?
When you beat number 10 and you have a little redemption from the national title game, go storm the field.
When you beat number 10 and you're like awesome Vanderbilt, by all means, storm the field. If you're trying to say, hey, we belong in the Big Ten with you, maybe storming the field the first time you get a big win isn't the best way to do it.
Push.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Poor Edwin Diaz. Yikes. He gave it up yesterday, gives up 3 runs in the 8th. Phillies come back, but then the Mets tied it up in the 9th, and you're like, okay, maybe, they're going to do it again. Nope. Nick Castellanos untying it to send everyone home. This is cut 6.
Swing and a line drive, base hit left field. That's headed to the wall, and headed home is Trey Turner, and the Phillies have won game 2. Nick Castellanos with the RBI knock, and the Phillies walk it off And this series is even at a game apiece.
Yeah, pretty cool. They'll go back up to New York. You see him celebrating with his kid. It was pretty awesome.
Playoff baseball is amazing.
It's been phenomenal. Last night, I mean, chippy game, back and forth, right again.
Ooh, those two
tempers
hate
flare.
each other.
They do. It's great.
Yeah. Yes.
And yeah, they have some. The Padres have some players that really feed into that, and that made it pretty fun last night. Jurickson Profar made about as good a catch as you'll see. No one was sure if he caught it. He was messing with the fans.
Darvish is nasty, absolutely filthy and nasty. And when he's on, he's one of those schoolboy guys that, like, hey, good luck trying to do anything, even against that Dodgers lineup that's like 9 deep. And we know that crew bashed and battered the Mariners as they swept them away in the one series we faced them. So to go 7 and get through that and even up that series, some good ones, man. Playoff baseball is the best.
Pretty cool. All right, that's everything you need to know. I'll also throw out again a hearty congratulations to my friend Kevin Martinez, who was named as the Mariners' new president of business operations on Friday. He replaces Katie Griggs, who left in July. And I remember saying at the time that I really hoped the team would go local and internal this time, that they should find somebody who understands the broadcast world, given that that's where a lot of the challenges will be for them moving forward, and someone who can bring out the best and a lot of the talent already assembled in the business side of that organization. So I think they got it right. Kevin's the best choice to do all of those things. I'm thrilled for him. I'm thrilled for his team. I'm thrilled for all the people that will get to work in and around him, because he really is an A-plus person. So really, really good news.
Yes, let's hope this is the first of many great acquisitions this offseason. And number 2, Kevin's a little like me. I guarantee you when he loses and the Mariners lose, he doesn't eat. He's frustrated. He stays up all night. He wants to win so doggone badly.
Yeah.
He truly does. I mean, and you know that from the years being around him and the stress that he carries and how much it means to him. And he will give everything he has to that job and then some.
Storming the field when you're supposed to be a proud pro.
253 says, y'all sound grumpy this morning. Gonna pray
I've been
for
grumpy about field storming and court storming for 20 years.
That's true.
It's ridiculous. There is nothing that makes you look more pathetic than
So
storming
when
the
Wazoo,
field.
did you have the same take when Wazoo stormed the field over the San Jose State win?
They should be embarrassed.
San Jose State a couple weeks ago?
They should be embarrassed for that.
Or should you
They
just
should
let
be
the kids
absolutely
kids?
horrified.
Can the kids
But
just
like
be
most
kids,
people,
Mike?
I wasn't watching.
Can the Rizzler just be a kid? I mean, can the kids just be kids? Can we just let them, have a little
Sure,
fun?
as
they
long
want
as
to?
you're willing to admit that you're not as good a program as Michigan.
Yeah,
then
I mean, when you
yes.
played them in the national title game last year, maybe that, carried a little weight too. Maybe they stung you a little bit in the national title. In the
But
national
you think storming
title
the field
game?
by beating them in some meaningless game the next year makes up for that?
No, nothing's
I would be
meaningless.
so freaking embarrassed
Nothing
if that were me.
meaningless. Big Ten still alive, just one loss.
Oh,
in the Big
hi.
Ten.
We're not as good as you, but we happen to win this time, so we're going to get overly excited about it.
866-979-3776. We want to open the phone lines to our 7 a.m. audience, 866-979-3776.
Is that what we're doing next?
Yes.
Sorry, I got myself distracted. Let's ask the question, though. How serious are the problems for the Seahawks after what you saw yesterday? How serious are the problems? 866-979-3776. That's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is joining us right now. What's it been like with a new offense?
It's been great. I've been loving the coaching staff. They've been, working with us real well. We've been meshing real well. And, I had a good feeling, during training camp and when I first got here, and it's exceeded my expectations. So, we just got to take advantage of, of everything that we have and just try to put our best foot forward.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
All right, guys, I know we're deep into fall now, and you maybe had a little too much fun over the summer. Maybe you gained a little extra weight, you let yourself go. Well, now is the time to get yourself back on track, and it can be frustrating, maybe overwhelming to do it yourself. That's why you've got a partner in Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. They'll be your teammate. No gimmicks, no tricks, no drugs, no injections, no fake phony food, just real recipes that work, food that you buy at the grocery store that will help you lose weight and make it sustainable for the long term as well. Eastside Weight Loss Clinic has the secret for fast, lasting weight loss, real healthy food, lifestyle strategies that will help reset your metabolism. Schedule your free consult online. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com or you can call them 425-588-0080. They have successfully helped thousands of people lose 20, 30 pounds or more in just 60 days, including myself. You can start start the program in person in Kirkland, or you can do it virtually from anywhere. Again, go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-495-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
Because it's here, now. One of the biggest heavy equipment and truck auctions of the year. Produced by the Murphy Auction Company, this 3-day event features a huge assortment of heavy equipment, heavy trucks, cars, vans, SUVs, and tools. Like 5 Cat 140H graders, 9 telescopic forklifts, 13 diesel-powered excavators, 6 wheel loaders, 3 skid steer loaders, and a 2009 John Deere 850J dozer. Also find 4 Peterbilt 365 Super Solo dump trucks, 1 Mack Super Solo, and 15 other dump trucks. If you need a tractor or a Vector, we got those as well. And for homeowners, if you're looking for a gas-powered excavator or wheel loader, we got over 140 to choose from. Preview all items at our Marysville location, corner of 136th and State Street in Marysville, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Do not miss this major auction event. Visit murphyauction.com for all details. That's murphyauction.com.
Overburdened with a bunch of stuff you don't want anymore, but feel bad throwing it away? John here with Happy Hauler, Seattle's eco-friendly junk removal. We prioritize donating and recycling. We'll help get your items to those in need instead of going to the landfill. At Happy Hauler, we pride ourselves on responsibility, community, and sustainability. We're a family-run small business that provides junk removal, donations, and recycling. Make yourself, your community, and the planet happy. It's time to reclaim your space. HappyHauler.com, hauling with a heart.
You want to talk about this part? You really want to do this?
I do.
You really want to get into this?
Yeah, I got some questions.
All right. Well, I got answers.
The Brock and Salk Show is brought to you every day by Simply Seattle.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
How would you like to have a brand new roof in time for winter? And even better, how about an honest local contractor known for their quality work? If you use Asset Roofing, you will have both. I can personally recommend Asset Roofing. Now through winter, if you need your roof replaced, make sure you get a bid from Asset Roofing. Get a free estimate now at AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Last week, the Seahawks lost to the Lions, and it was pretty easy to come in the next day and say, what are you going to do? Really good team, playing really great football. You were missing half your defense. Offense still managed to play well. Oh, well. Come back out and beat the Giants the next day. And then, unfortunately, the Giants come in town, and once again, you don't look up to par. The Giants beat you pretty soundly. Yes, we can go through all of the couple of details that ended up costing them the game. But over the course of 60 minutes, it really was not that close. The Giants were the better team. I think that was pretty clear. And ultimately, they boxed them into a win. So how serious is the problem? Maybe we overreacted to the first 3 games, right? And saying, oh, my gosh, this team looks great. And maybe we got to up our win total and this and that. And I'll admit I might have overreacted a little bit. Mm-hmm. But what's the reaction now to the last 2? How concerning is it? How serious do you believe the problems are? And we got a couple phone lines open at 866-979-3776. Brock, how serious are the problems?
Well, it's a little bit like the Mariners offense. When it didn't matter kind of who you faced, you could make some of these pitchers look elite. That's now 3 different running backs this season, Salk, that you have made look elite, that have had from an efficiency standpoint, and yesterday the young rookie a career day, and you give up 5 yards a carry and 170-something yards rushing, 180 yards rushing to New England. Your inability to stop the run is a real issue, You can't do all the other things that Mike McDonald wants to do. Like you can't pattern read. You can't be overly aggressive, right? You can't force other mistakes when a team's going to hand the ball and just run it right at you, and you can't defeat blocks, and you can't make tackles, and you can't stop the run in this league. That is a significant problem. Now, is that Byron Murphy being out? Is that Boye Mafe being out? I don't know. You had Leonard Williams, you had Baker back, you had Jaron Reed, you had Hankins, you had your guys. Right. And you just could not defeat a block, get off a block, beat a block, stuff the run. And oh, by the way, Daniel Jones is also going to run right over you and right through you. I mean, that's a problem because this team coming in Thursday night can run the freaking football. The Rams can run the football. You're going to, and once you put that on tape that you can't stop the run, you got issues. And then you saw the trickle-down effect. You saw one-on-one coverage and some guys that right now also can't, play the ball and disrupt the ball. So, yeah, to me, that is the most concerning. It was the most concerning in New England, and it was certainly the most concerning yesterday as New York just punched you in the face, and you could not stop them.
All right. Well, 866-979-3776. We'll ask you guys, how concerning are these last 2 losses? How serious do you believe the problems are? We'll start with Jack, who's in Kent. Good morning, Jack.
Hey, good morning, you guys. I'm concerned about the bad coaching, concerned about the bad play, but I'm even more so concerned about the lack of juice I saw yesterday from this team. I mean, they were listless. It looked like they were the team that traveled across country by plane to get here. I'm just really concerned about the lack of juice. And one player in particular, where is Devin Witherspoon? He was all over the field last year, all Pro Bowl corner, playmaker. Where is he this year? I thought Mike McDonald would unlock him like they did with Kyle Hamilton over in Baltimore. And other than a few bad penalties, he's been virtually anonymous this year as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if that's scheme or he's having, a sophomore slump, but where is our juice? And DK, the look on his face yesterday said it all. He fumbled. He went over there pouting. You had Geno talking to himself. This team was not ready, and that's a reflection of the coaching.
Yeah, and I bet you at 9:30, Coach McDonald is going to accept a lot of that, Jack. I think he's going to take responsibility. You had a desperate team. You got to play desperate. You have to match their desperation. New York Giants were 1-3. can't fall to 1-4. Your season's basically done. And they played like a desperate bunch of just crazed dogs. They had 10 days off on a Thursday. They took advantage of those couple practice days. Dable had a tremendous game plan that nitpicked and attacked, and he didn't go away from Trey Brown 11 different times. Once he feasted or once he felt some weakness, he continued to go at it and go at it and go at it. And you did not play with that kind of juice. You played like a team that practiced 2 times.
Yeah, and that was part of the question. I mean, the point on Devin Witherspoon is a good one, and one we can discuss a little bit later, maybe in some more depth, Brock. But I don't like excuses, but
they're for losers.
You're coming off of a Monday night game while the Giants are coming off the Thursday night game. They had 4 additional days of rest, and you're playing on a short week. I'm not saying, again, it's not an excuse for why you lost. But if you're trying to figure out how serious the problems are, I think it's part of that conversation. You look tired and they didn't. There's a good reason for that.
Yeah, and I think all of this is, and again, an explanation, an excuse, whatever way you want to frame it or paint it. But this is also first-time head coach and a lot of first-time staff members going through this thing together. And was this the right decision? I think it felt like the right decision on Wednesday to just do a walkthrough. Right after you get home in the early hours of Tuesday and guys are already banged up and beat up and you're trying to get some more horses to the starting line, right? So let's make sure we don't lose anybody else during the week and when they're not ready to go. But no, just walk through on Wednesday. So really you're looking Thursday at a full speed practice, right? Where you can hammer home some of these things physically. Friday is usually a lighter day in the NFL, about a 90-minute or less practice, and that's it. Unfortunately, it felt that way. Unfortunately, that felt like a team that was sharpened on the other side, that was down a couple of their studs, and everybody's like, Malik Neighbors, no starting running back, Daniel Jones, and all of a sudden they're like, screw you, this is the NFL. Yeah. And I get my chance to eat, I'm going to go perform.
And rest does matter, though. I mean, you got to factor that in. I mean, they get an opportunity to take a few extra days, have those extra practices, prep, etc. And I thought some of that difference came out on the field yesterday. 866-979-3776. I'm going to go to Dean, who's in Tempe. Good morning, Dean. How serious are these issues?
Hey, good morning, fellas. I think the issues that we're seeing are very serious. And right now, I think it's fair to ask if we're actually better off so far this season with Pete as our coach. I'm pretty certain we'd also be 3-2 at this point, and a lot of the same frustrations exist that did last season, getting gashed in the run game, bad O-line play, looking unprepared against inferior opponents. And for a direct comparison to last season, we beat Detroit and the Giants with largely the same players on both sides.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember that Giants game, they were totally decimated with injuries, right? You went out there on a Monday night, and, I mean, they could not protect Daniel Jones. They could not do anything. They did not have any of this kind of weaponry, and you did. You absolutely hammered them, and Devin had a huge interception to seal that one. I'm not ready anywhere near that level to jump to that and say you'd be 3-2 with Pete with this team. I don't know about that. But I do know this run game looks eerily similar. I do know that, Dean, and I would agree with you. Like, if you don't defeat blocks, right, and that was what was, I think, most encouraging, Salk, maybe in a little overreaction, certainly in 2 of the 3 wins, it's like, man, you were dictating, right? You were on them. Mm-hmm. You were making life difficult for the other. Like, you got to deal with us. And in these 2 losses, man, you have been absolutely on your heels in Detroit and the Giants, totally dictating in both phases. And especially offensively, like, man, what does Mike like to say to us? To play with anticipation, to be ahead of the play.
Yeah.
I mean, holy smokes. If Detroit was rough, what was yesterday? I mean, equally as rough, right? You were just catching everything and never ahead of them, never dictating. And that did feel, to Dean's point, a whole lot like the Seahawks defense of the last couple of years.
Yeah, you end up, thanks, Dean, for the phone call, and you end up with some, your offense didn't get it going this week the way they did the previous week, right? You don't ever really commit to the run game, which was weird, and I know Coach talked about that after the game, and we'll ask him about it when he comes in here at 9:30, but that, of all the things that felt familiar, that was it for me. Like, gosh, there is just nothing in the world quite like the love affair between NFL offensive coordinators in the passing game.
Mm-hmm.
They just, for whatever reason, all of them, this is like a 32 of them problem. They just can't ever seem to get out of their own way when it comes to falling in love with the passing game. I just don't get it.
Okay, well, let me try to explain, and you can try to poo-poo it, like the field storming. I'm sure you will. I think many of these coordinators can't run against Dexter Lawrence. I mean,
Right.
just
No, I get that.
What is
Yeah.
going to be a better opportunity for us, Salk? Is it going to be better with DK Tyler and Jackson and Noah in space, or trying to move Dexter Lawrence and Thibodeau?
Right, but unfortunately, Lawrence and Thibodeau and Brian Burns, for sure, were just in your backfield the whole night. So was that better? Right? I mean, like, at least there's some wearing them down and a lot of other positives that come from the run game. Those things don't happen when Brian Burns is just walking into your backfield and blowing stuff up. Let me get back to the calls. 866-979-3776. Other side of this, Danny's in Idaho. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning, Saul. I say let's not overreact. Am I concerned? Absolutely. But I don't think it's time to panic. You have a really young team. We're amongst the youngest in the NFL. You've got a first-year head coach who's figuring things out. Second part of my thought is I think we're underestimating how important Boye Mafe is to this defense. He's not going to fix the problems, let's be clear. But especially on passing downs, having the ability to really close that pocket from both ends, which we saw in those first three games with Derek Hall coming from one side and Boye coming from the other, really made a huge difference. And this is a little bit late, but Shauna told us all.
Thank you. Appreciate it. To you as well.
Byron and Boye matter, man.
They matter.
They matter.
Do they matter more than Neighbors and, I mean, like, at some point, you had enough of your guys back this week that it's hard for me to say, like, you should be able to survive being without those two guys. Right? I mean, like, I'm not saying they're not good. I'm not saying they're not difference makers.
Like, you have to in the NFL.
It's just life in the NFL.
It is. It is why, it is so level. It is why you can sit here and go, oh, my gosh, the Giants. Oh, they're terrible. Oh, the Giants, really? I mean, I heard Cowherd make a point the other day after their Cowboy game. He's like, I'll tell you what, man, I kind of like the Giants. Their D-line is like top 10 pick, top 10 pick, top 15 pick. Like, that D-line is real. That's a real problematic defensive line. I thought their secondary flew around and played really aggressively and had some nice components to it. Their offensive line is anchored by a left tackle that's an absolute stud. Brian Dable is a tremendous play caller that moved his pieces around. Like, there's pieces there. And then when Daniel Jones plays like that and you allow Daniel Jones to feel confident and to feel comfortable – remember, he took him to the playoffs. The reason they paid him $40 million is he is a big, physical, athletic guy. I mean, you could minimize him all you want, but he's 6'4", 225.
He can run. I don't minimize the run part.
He can run.
Move. Yep.
And you allowed him to feel comfortable and confident.
He's a little bit better throwing Tim Tebow to me. Like, he throws a little better, maybe doesn't run it quite as well or as physically, but I just see a lot of Tim Tebow whenever
Do you really?
I watch him.
That's funny.
Yeah. No, he just, to me, is like better Tim Tebow.
Interesting.
Good runner, kind of a fullback style of a runner, too, like physical kind of runner. I mean, would you prefer discount dollar store Josh Allen? Because I think there's some of that, too. I mean, or just Drew Lock, because to me, they're still the same person. Anyway, we got some other people on the phone. We don't have enough time to get to all of them. We kind of took your time. Sorry about that. But I want to make sure we give Brock a whole bunch of time to answer Blue 88 questions, and so we'll do that right now.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
All right, Brock, question number 1. When did you know this game was going to be a rough one?
3rd and 17, opening series.
Yeah.
I mean, that just can't ever happen at home. Right? Daniel Jones trips on himself, fumbles the ball. You nearly come up with it right there. You're at 3rd and 17. They just run a give-up little screen. And there's nobody in sight, nobody to be found. Like, how is that even possible? How encouraging were those first few weeks? Like, oh, you're going to run a screen? Great. We got a bunch of screen masters all over the place that are going to diagnose it and be on top of it. They run that screen, they throw it, and I'm like, where are you? Hello? Where are you? and then a bad angle and a broken tackle, and you convert, and you absolutely give an opponent life. That is an error in baseball that gives a team another at bat. And what do you always see when that happens? You start to see the momentum and the confidence and the floodgates. And I promise you, Daniel Jones is like, what? I hadn't seen this. Certainly in this building, 3rd and 17, I get a gift like that. And then you convert a couple more third downs, and then you drive all the way down the field. Like, honest to goodness, that 3rd and 17 was like, man, did you practice? Are you on top of your details? Whatever film they're going to watch and Tell the Truth Monday, and I know they don't phrase it that anyway, but like that can never happen in the NFL. I knew right then and there, like, uh-oh, I don't know if these guys are on their details today, and they just, unfortunately, were not.
Question number 2. Well, I don't know if this one's going to be any more fun than the first question, but really tough day for Trey Brown. What happened and what does it mean?
Yeah, and I know he reacted, didn't he, on Twitter? Was that Twitter or Instagram, or what did he put out this little
Twitter,
post? Like, yeah, y'all waited years to get on me. Well, like, Trey, man, this is the NFL. Like, you're going to get these opportunities, and kind of like DK's ball security, once you get picked on and once you got a target, good coordinators are going to do what Dable did. And that's find a way to get a bigger receiver on you and Slayton again and again and again. And it's been a while since we've seen that. 2 holding calls that they also give first downs. 9 other times, I think, Salk, in my notes, he was targeted. Fortunately for him, Wandale dropped one and had another drop by Slayton. Otherwise, 9 for 9. It's go routes, it's touchdowns. There just wasn't anything. He did not disrupt the ball one time, which is why Pritchett, I think, finally came in the game and got you a huge stop on 3rd down. Was at least within the zip code. Was at least fundamentally sound. Was at least in the hip pocket to be able to disrupt. I mean, Trey it was out of sorts. He is usually pesky and feisty, and you may beat him because he's small, but he's usually combative. And there just was none of that.
Well, but I think that's his point, right? Which is like, hey, I'm not a rookie playing my first game. Like, yeah, he had a bad game. He knew he had a bad game. And he's not out here being like, I had a great game. He's saying, look, I know I was bad, but I do have like 4 years in the league and other tape. Like, guys, chill, I think was sort of his point.
Yes, but this is a game that, man, if you can disrupt the ball and you can make a few plays and you can get your defense off the field, you've also got to stop the problem, Salk. And, yeah, I don't know. I know Coach McDonald talked about the fundamentals. I'll be really curious to try to dig into that. And I don't know how much he'll share, but you heard a little bit of McCourty yesterday as a former DB talking about that. Like, man, like all they're running is slants. I mean, how many of those were slants?
Right.
Just like over and over and over and over again. Like, where is your technique? Why are you giving up the inside? Why are you giving up that slant 4 or 5 different times? At some point, you got to make an adjustment. Well, at some point, Salk, you got to make an adjustment, and you got to find a way to disrupt the football, or somebody else is going to get that opportunity. And takeaways, I will throw out there an idea that I think you've got to consider after a few of these games.
Okay. Question number 3. All right, so I know there's a lot of folks upset about the blocked field goal.
Yep.
I'm not really high on that list, but there's a debate, at least sort of, as to whether or not the play was legal. Was it?
Well, Laken Tomlinson added a little fuel to this after the game, right? Just saying, hey, man, like, I'm not an official, but from his estimation, like, can't do that. So I sent the play to Mikey Rulebooks, Mike Pereira, our king of officiating there at Fox, a guy that we love. And I said, hey, is this legal? And his response to me was, you cannot grab and pull a player out of a gap, but you can legally push a player down. I do not see this defender grabbing and pulling the player. I see him pushing him down.
Right.
And then, as they mentioned on the broadcast, Isaiah Simmons did not jump right over. He jumped through that A gap that player pushed Laken Tomlinson's head down, and they executed beautifully. And it was something that happened to the Giants last year, and Dayball was red-faced, and he was irritated. He thought the same thing. You can't do that. And when told, like, no, you can, man, they pulled that out at absolutely the right time and executed, and Jason Myers didn't have a chance. So, yes, by rule, I know there was a lot of people there after the game saying this is illegal, you cannot do this. But by rule, according to the great Mike Pereira, as long as you don't pull that player out of his gap, and as long as you don't jump directly over the long snapper, and they did not do either of those, by rule, it was effective, and unfortunately crushed you and ended that game.
Yeah. All right, there you go. That is today's Blue 88. Let me hear cut 10. This was Mike McDonald talking about the blocked field goal and what he saw from his perspective.
Well, there's a guy in the A gap. We need to block him. So it's pretty much that simple. But you're allowed to push down. They pushed down on our right guard, and he wasn't able to get to Simmons.
Pretty well sums it up.
I think it was left guard, but
no, Tomlinson was at right guard.
I'm looking at the picture that I sent Mike Pereira.
The left guard I thought was the one that got pushed down, but Tomlinson was at right guard.
Yeah, the left
Tomlinson
guard
looked like he just went to the ground.
The left guard got pushed down, and that's the gap that Simmons jumped in. He jumped left of the center. So it was. I'm looking at the picture right now. It was absolutely the left. So anywho, it was problematic, man, and it was somewhat emblematic of them fundamentally doing the right thing more often than not. Not in the red zone, and they certainly had some critical drops, and they opened the door for you because they didn't finish some drives and didn't finish some catches. But over the course of, 140 plays, how many more times did they do the right thing versus you? How many more times did they defeat you physically? I mean, it was a lot more than, a field goal there to tie it at the end of regulation would lead you to believe. And yet you were that close, right? I mean, yet this is the NFL. Where, look at the Ravens yesterday. Look at all these games over and over and over in the NFL. You can be down and you can come back. The script can be written and you can rip that up in the fourth quarter, and you can find a way to make something out of nothing when the adversity and the circumstances are very dire. And, man, it felt like that. And then that block just took all the air out of the balloon, and those guys came 3,000, whatever it was, 2,500 miles. And
it's hard. The block one's hard for me, Brock. Like, I just feel like even if you hit that field goal, you lose the game.
I don't know, man, because then the pressure's finally on them. Then you finally put pressure on Daniel Jones.
Maybe.
And those guys have not been good in those moments, right?
Yeah.
You just don't know that. He could have thrown you one right there. You could have fumbled for right there. Like
there was nothing I had seen the entire game that made me think that was going to happen. And I said this.
Even the stop on the previous drive, like where you had to
totally
you had
different
to get
kind
a
of
stop.
Totally different kind of stop. Teams get those stops all the time. They got to run until third down. Like you sort of are given the first two, and then it's a chance. Can you basically stop one play compared to they're in shotgun, they're going down the field, it's a 2-minute drill. How many times do we have to see this? I am now at a point where I assume the other team is going to kick a field goal. If they have enough time left, I assume that a field goal will happen. And I think you've got to play NFL games like blackjack, like the dealer's got a 10 underneath. Like you just have to assume that whatever you do clockwise, if you give them the ball back, certainly with a minute left and 2 timeouts, they're going to go down and kick a field goal.
Well, I mean, you saw that with Geno in 22 seconds at the end of the first half. You saw that with Geno right there at the end of the game.
It's just the way the game is played now. The rules are so in favor of the offense that I think you have to assume that the other team is going to kick a field goal. So even if you kick the field goal there and it goes in, all right, you're tied. They got a minute and multiple timeouts to go down there and kick a field goal of their own. And even if they fail, now you're going to go to overtime, which is a coin toss for so I just I don't know that obviously would be better if you hit it. You give yourself a chance, but it didn't feel like
and you turn a little momentum and you do put the pressure on them, and you never fully know, especially against a guy that has been prone to make mistakes and a team that's been prone to make mistakes and not be able to finish games. And unfortunately, you didn't get that chance. And that drop, man, by Jackson was just
it's brutal.
Gosh,
that one's a killer, right?
You just can't. You got to have it, man. That's
because
your job.
Then you either can go down and score a touchdown, or you give yourself a shot at either an easier field goal or tying the game late, where now you are going to go to overtime. It's supposed to give them a full minute. So, all right, I got a bunch of questions for you, Brock, coming after this game, kind of building on the Blue 88 theme. So let me hit you with a whole bunch and hear your thoughts. It's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got to bring in this guy, talks of football with Christian Haynes. Had you been to Seattle before?
No.
Did you have a sense that the Seahawks were really interested in you? Or?
You know, I always had like the Seahawks in the back of my head. And then when the third round came and I saw Renton, Washington, I was like, whoa, Washington. I was like, all right, here's the Seahawks. And it was just like a full circle moment because I thought I had a really good interview with Coach Huff, and I just felt really connected and good with him when I had that interview.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible, it's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Fall is near and it's time to break the huddle by taking advantage of Toyota of Kirkland's lifetime powertrain warranty. With a roster of over 70 Tundras and Tacomas, come scout the phenomenal team at Toyota of Kirkland. They'll pass you the keys so you can test drive your vehicle and take it to the house that same day. Big-time players make big-time plays at Toyota of Kirkland. Visit them today at their incredible showroom or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Have you recently tried to get a loan to buy a piece of real estate? Are you tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and their endless guidelines? Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Oh no, your furnace died. Your hot water heater's leaking. Your drains are clogged. Your AC's blowing hot air. Inconveniences? No, they're emergencies. Don't fear. Call Deere Services. Visit DeereServices.net. Make an appointment and we'll be there within 3 hours or give you $100 credit. And get this, you will never pay a service fee. Bookmark DearServices.net because if you're a homeowner, it'll happen to you someday. Deere Services, there when you need us most.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
At State Roofing, you can trust us to get your project done right because we prioritize quality and excellence in everything we do. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest today, and don't pay until 2025. Call State Roofing at 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my superhydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Harnish Auto Family is proud to partner with the Carol Milgard Breast Center in the fight against breast cancer. Hey, Brock Ewart here, and all you got to do is simply test drive a vehicle during October, and Harnish will make a donation on your behalf. Harnish Auto Family, where people matter.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
Styled by Simply Seattle.
And Brooke Ewart. And Brooke Ewart.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
Nearly as much fun to do Mondays following a Seahawks loss as it is coming off a win. We had 3 fun ones, and now a second straight week of trying to figure out what happened in the loss. Mike McDonald will join us at 9:30, and obviously we'll talk through it with him. But let me ask you some bigger picture questions, Brock, and not like specifics about this game, but maybe just trying to figure out where this team is at. These last 2 losses.
Is this the Huskies or Seahawks? Huskies or Seahawks?
This is the Seahawks. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The Huskies won. I don't know if you know.
Huskies at 9. Let's do Huskies at 9. I got a lot for you. Huskies at 9.
You
I know
do?
it's Washington Wednesdays at 9. Oh, I do, because I actually have them this week. I have them in Iowa. Our game got flipped, and so we're going to do the big noon game, which will be great. And so we'll talk a little Huskies in an hour.
Are these last 2 losses
what do you got for me?
Connected? Are these last 2 losses connected?
Oh, yeah.
Similar
absolutely.
issues? Are they trends? I mean, like, how connected are these 2 losses?
Yeah, they're connected, and they're connected in the schedule as well. And that's a reality. This is, 3 games in 11 days. And Thursday night is going to be that much more real. Like, you thought you were physically challenged to get up and get yourself to health and recover after the Monday night trip. Well, try not playing now. Thankfully for them, it's at home. And San Fran's got to make the trip. And we know for opponents on Thursday night, it's even that much more difficult. But yeah, man, it's these are connected in that way first and foremost. It's just the physical elements all, and just being physically worn down. I mean, these opponents both just physically, where this game always starts. It always starts at the line of scrimmage of imposing your will physically, whether you're a run or pass team or however you want to call it. But yeah, I would say they're absolutely connected in that sense. That, man, you just have not been physically able to defeat the man in front of you, or bring the man in front of you down time after time.
So that's the defense, where offense is sort of hard to maybe draw the same through line.
It is,
although
because obviously in Detroit, they do. I mean, those fumbles back-to-back weeks really hurt you, and I would say that the one this week hurt you 10x more. I mean, you were not going to stop Detroit, not down as many people as you were, so every possession offensively was so key. But even with that, like, hey, man, come on. Like, there was no margin. You had to play completely perfect. This game, hold on a second, you brought it back, man. You got the field goal before half. You've turned some of the momentum. You get a 3 and out to begin the second half. You get the ball. You're marching right down the field. You can feel like Mike Tyson's punch-out. You can feel the end, like Glass Joe is just being worn down, and then all of a sudden Glass Joe just, got a knockout and knocked you out and brought life back to those Giants, and they go down and score, and what a huge, just gigantic momentum and emotional turn, unfortunately. And as Jack from, our caller from Kent said, you could read it then on DK's face the rest of the way, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that. That was just, unfortunately, such a devastating blow they couldn't quite overcome. So, yeah, I would say physically the most is how they're connected.
How much are you learning about their level of talent?
Say it again.
How much are you learning about the Seahawks' talent level? or maybe the fit of the talent they have with the system they're running. You know, that's one of the questions we were sort of wondering about coming into the season is, do they just have enough talent that wasn't being utilized well enough, or are they not talented enough to truly be one of the better teams in the league? After 5 games, as opposed to just after 3, where are you at now with their talent?
Yeah, I mean, obviously these losses in the way that they look defensively start to kind of concern you. There's no question. I also am not going to overreact like your buddy down in Tempe and just say, oh my gosh, lost cause. I do think that there was a mentality and a physical issue yesterday that was more than just talent. Because I think Jenkins is a talented guy. I think Spoon and Woolen are talented guys. I think your front's talented guys. I just don't think they've been on the, and I hate to say details over and over, but man, they've just been on the receiving end. So no, and your receiving core is talented. Your tight ends, AJ Barner's talented. K9 is talented. Gino's talented. Some deficiencies in spots, yes, but that's every team in the league when you watch. Every team in the league's got a few areas, whether it's depth at corner, whether it's your right and left guard. So no, I think talent-wise, there still is enough there.
What about fit? And fit's different from talent, right? I mean, fit is how well, he inherited the vast majority of the players on this team. How much of it could be fit, not having the guys that fit what he ultimately wants to do?
Yeah, I think that I would probably, on the teeter-totter, I think I would land a little more on that one than I would just pure talent. I need real man corners, right? I need guys, is Trey Brown a real lockdown, come up and press you long and lengthy and twitchy? That's going to be a challenge. Spoon and Woolen are those guys, but we know in this league you can't have just 2 corners. And then when Woolen gets knocked out, you do bring a Pritchett on who has a little more of that in his background, Salk, who's got a little longer arms, who's got a little more speed and straight line speed. But yeah, I think there's probably more of that than there is just the pure talent. I would land a little more on fit than pure talent.
Any underlying positives, something that we haven't, it's easy to get caught up in the negatives on a day like today. And I'm right there with you. I mean, I got a million things that I feel like went, they didn't do well, certainly in this game. I mean, some of the numbers are really, shocking, right? I mean, they gave up 175 yards on the ground. They were sloppy. They committed 6 penalties. The time of possession was almost 15 minutes different. That's insane in the NFL.
In the NFL, it's really hard to do.
Yep. 7 sacks. I mean, you can go all day with all the problems.
Yeah,
were there any positives?
Yeah, I think that the offense responding there in the second half and moving the ball up and down the field and getting the touchdown and driving down again. And, you have a great play down. I still love a ton of what Grubb is doing. And he's giving guys the opportunity and putting you in a position for success. And unfortunately, a fumble and a drop and, I think Gino 2 or 3 times sacked himself. But he also scrambled for 72 yards, and they put themselves in position, Salk, with all of that adversity. They put themselves in a position with a minute to go. If Jackson makes that catch, I think they win the game. And I hate to put that on him, but I really do.
Yeah,
you can have a first down at the 22-yard line, and you got a timeout left and a minute, and you got all the momentum. I think you're going to find a way to win that game. Yeah. So is there positives? That's always a positive. You didn't just lay down. You didn't just take sacks and just quit. You were right there. And unfortunately, just couldn't finish the deal.
Yeah.
And couldn't overcome, as you said, a 15-minute time of possession deficiency, which in this league is really difficult.
It's pretty mammoth. It's really hard to that's a lot to overcome. And it was one that really felt like it was on both sides of it, right? The defense couldn't get off the field. The offense couldn't stay on the field for a large margin of it. And, right in the middle of it is, you just don't end up running the ball much, which ends up, I think really hurting you. So why don't they have more of a running game in a game like that? Got some answers. They're in Need to Know next. It's Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
We got to bring in this guy, talks some football with Christian Haynes. Had you been to Seattle before?
No.
Did you have a sense that the Seahawks were really interested in you? Or
I always had the Seahawks in the back of my head. And then when the 3rd round came, I saw Renton, Washington. I was like, whoa, Washington. I was like, all right, the Seahawks. And it was just like a full circle moment because I thought I had a really good interview with Coach Huff, and I just felt really connected and good with him when I had that interview.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Well, we talk about this in football quite a bit, man. Do not be a repeat offender, mistake offender. You can make a mistake. Everybody does. But you got to flush it and move on to the next play. So if you made the mistake and just said, well, this is my insurance, I'm assuming I'm getting the right rate, I'm assuming everything's covered, don't make that mistake anymore. You know, Molly and I heard so many of these First Mark Insurance Challenge victories. We decided, hey, let's turn it over. Let's flush it, and let's see exactly what we've got covered with our insurance. And boy, am I glad we did. It has saved us thousands on our premiums the last couple years. Here's how First Mark does it. Here's how they go to work for you. They fully analyze your current coverage, making sure you're not overpaying for the wrong coverage. And then, unlike you and me, well, they go to the market, dozens of major carriers they've worked with for years to find you the best fit. And that's it. No stress, no confusion. And oh, by the way, it's totally free. They're your teammate, and they spent the last 30 years helping thousands of families, including mine, successfully manage this complicated world of insurance. So don't wait. Don't keep making mistakes. Don't push it off to tomorrow. Take the First Mark Challenge this morning. It is totally free, and you might be the next First Mark Challenge victory. Just go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com, your teammate that goes to work for you.
Build better benefits for your employees with the MBA Health Trust. The Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties offers quality and affordable health benefits for local construction businesses. Learn more at mbahealthtrust.com.
Hey, Seahawks fans. Tyler Lockett for Brown Bear Car Wash. We've got the perfect play for a spotless car. With the Unlimited Wash Club, you can keep your car game ready all season long. It isn't clean unless it's Brown Bear clean.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and saute. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
We want to play a certain way, and you're just going to chisel away at it every day.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
West Coast Men's Health has helped thousands of men overcome erectile dysfunction and Peyronie's disease using acoustic wave therapy. No pills and no shots. But it's not our success stories that separate us from the other clinics. It's how we interact with our patients. From your first call, our medical staff will take the time to answer your questions, whether it's about your ED, how our treatment works, or even about the cost. Our goal is to inform and educate you so you're comfortable when you come in for your first visit. So if you're tired of frustrating nights, you're ready to get off Viagra and put an end to your ED or Peyronie's disease, stop living with this problem and do something about it. Give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, Seahawks lost, and while they did give themselves an opportunity late by staying in the game, that game could have been a whole lot worse if they had made a different call on that goal line fumble that ended up being returned 102 yards. The defense was problematic throughout. Mike McDonald's cut one says, yeah, they just weren't able to get it done defensively.
We got outplayed and out executed today. That's what happened. I thought we made some good adjustments as the game went on. I'm not sure what the numbers are saying, but like we didn't get off when we did create third downs in the first half. We didn't get off the field, and then I think some penalties there in the second half. So it's kind of all the way around, all three phases, all three levels of the defense, myself included. I mean, we got outplayed today on defense.
Yeah, and that's, where a lot of the focus has been, but the offense wasn't a whole lot better. They got it going once they kind of got into their no huddle, kind of passing the ball down the field, but the run game was almost non-existent. Geno Smith here in Cut 5 asked about the balance between the running and the passing game.
Honestly, I don't even think about that when I'm playing. I got to execute the plays that are called. I got to do my job, and that's my main focus, is to do my job to the highest of highs of my ability. And so those things are questions you should ask the coaches. In reality, I just got to go out there and play better. I got to do better to get us over the hump.
I think that's fair. I mean, in the end of the day, Salt, Kim Walker had five carries.
They did ask the coach. You want to hear? Here's cut 11. Yeah. Here's Coach McDonald on why the run game didn't get as many opportunities.
Well, yeah, that's a fair question, and we definitely need to get the run game going. The way the game started, we were thinking about trying to get Geno going early, and I'm not sure how many plays we had in the first half, but it wasn't many. So, game started to, going to get out of hand there, and so we had to get going. But you're right, we need to get the run game going. We need to get Ken the ball more.
And to me, Salk, I think the one thing they finally got to it in the second half, I think I texted you guys, like, okay, so if you're not going to run the ball, there are other ways, right, that you can run the ball without running the ball, and that's screens. And the screen game has been very effective this year, and I have loved the creativity of a ton of them, and they ran two good ones in that second half, and it's not, a quote-unquote run play, but that's a similar effect. It might as well be sprint draw or trap, where you're getting that aggressive defense to come upfield, and then you throw that screen right on the other side of them and just give Ken Walker opportunities. Just give him enough at-bats because he's a difference maker, and they know that. But to Mike's point, like, what do they have in the first half? 15 plays? I mean, they just couldn't, like a 3 and out or 5 and out, and then that, 9, 10, 11-minute drive, and then they get the ball again, the Giants do. In takeaways, I'll share a story.
You say that, Brock, but it was a one-score game for most of the day. You got to have more than 5 rushing attempts.
Yes, you do.
It was.
There's no question about that. Yes,
it wasn't a blowout where they had to throw the ball 45, 60 times to come back into it. It was a one-score game.
Yep.
You're just not running the ball very much. Good news, they've yet to even play a division game, and the division has been all kinds of problematic. Niners lose to Arizona. They're both 2-3. Rams 1-4 after a loss to Green Bay. So the Seahawks are still the only team with a winning record in the division as they get ready for San Francisco on Thursday night.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
All right, big credit to Jed Fish and the Huskies. They take down number 10 Michigan on Saturday at home. They made a bunch of mistakes the previous week. Not so much this time. They were the cleaner team. Will Rogers, 271 through the air, 80 yards on the ground for Jonah Coleman. And then the defense, very much the story, cut 7. They find a way to take the ball away, and that'll win you a lot of games.
Play clock all the way down when they got the snap off. Tuttle surveys. Lost the football. Washington's got it. Tutuufi knocked it out. And Sagapolu brought it in. Washington has possession.
Yeah, it was the first of 2 turnovers for Jack Tuttle in the second half. And the Huskies come away with a nice win.
Yeah, how about just 2 penalties, by the way? Michigan had 5 of them. Credit the fans that showed up in big ways. Husky Stadium just looks special, man. And you heard Blackledge, and that's Ian Eagle's son, Noah Eagle, on the call there. And I'd been texting with Todd a bunch, and he's like, man, this place is fun. And when it's going, and it's a gorgeous weekend, and you're sailgating, and you saw the images, and I thought NBC just knocked it out of the park and documented that game so well. You watch that game from afar, I guarantee you, college football fans in Birmingham and Columbus, like all over, like, man, I got to get to that place. That place on a Saturday like that is special. And then the teams play on the field, backed it up 427 yards to 287, won the turnover battle, won the penalty battle, played clean. And when they do that, Salk, I mean, they can beat just about anybody. You know, obviously they'll have to play SC, they'll have to play Oregon, play a couple of the, really, talented teams still this year, but they'll go to Iowa this week. They play that kind of game, they can beat Iowa. They play that game, they can beat Indiana. They play that kind of game, right? They can do some damage here in the Big Ten.
Oregon, USC, just those, natural Big Ten rivalries that you'd expect. Michigan falls to number 24. Huskies still unranked in the top 25.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I don't know if you've been watching the baseball postseason, but it has been phenomenal. Almost every game has been fun to watch. Even a blowout like last night where San Diego hit, 7 home runs or whatever, was still fun because the Dodgers and Padres can't stand each other, and the tempers have been flaring in that series. Hit batter, right, as they drilled Tatis, and that seemed to kind of get everything going again. Just been a really fun postseason. I wish the Mariners were in it. That would make it even better. But yeah, these games have been good.
You got a rooting interest. I mean, obviously for me, it's the Tigers with Benetti, and
I've been rooting for the Padres.
Yeah. They're kind of.
I love the way they play. I love how mad they are. Like, they got a lot of fun dudes. That Jurickson Profar play last night was fun. And I'm kind of rooting for the Mets. Mets. They're just fun, and Mets fans are fun.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say those are the 2 teams that I found myself kind of gravitating to.
Yep. I would tend to agree, and it just you feel the emotion. I mean, just listen to these calls, you just watch it. I mean, playoff baseball is just. It's what it's all about, man. They run that whole marathon to all of a sudden get to like the track events, right? It's kind of like the marathon and the Olympics. Like, oh, that's kind of fun. Or the 16,000 meters. That's kind of fun. But then you get to the 100 meters, the 200 meters, 400 meters, right? Then you get to those events that you can just.
What's so funny about this is you essentially are taking the marathon runners and having them do the sprint. Like, rather than having
like Mora. I mean, you take like a Mora.
Exactly.
She's a strider. She's a long gliding strider. So
you're taking, these marathon bodies and putting them into a sprinting situation. And yeah, it does make the baseball postseason super interesting. That is everything you need to know, a quarter past every hour here in the Broncos.
Lyle, were you up late watching that Dodgers-Padres game? Are you all into playoff baseball? Or are you still so seeing red with the Mariners season being over? Or where are we at?
No, I'm into playoff baseball. The series have been awesome.
Okay. All right, good.
Who are you rooting for?
I kind of want to see the Mets keep going. They're fun.
Yeah, it is kind of fun. It's silly, right? Like, they don't seem that good. But it is also one of those good reminders of, like, they get in on the last day, right? I mean, like, you get in and anything is possible after that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they've got enough pitching. They kind of feel like one of these teams that, and we talk about a marathon and then to the sprints. But then, Salk, when you do get to the playoffs, and as these playoffs go on, you have to have deep bullpens.
Yep.
Right? You have to have deep rotations.
Yep.
Yeah, or it starts to come back and bite you a little bit. And I think
253 says, Salk, I'm surprised you haven't mentioned not being able to watch the AL play with Fubo not having TBS. Well, It doesn't, but I have HBO Max or Max, whatever it's called now, and that does have all the TBS stuff.
good,
So
very
for
good.
anybody who is struggling to find the games that are on TBS, Max has it, and I think Max has the best combination of TV shows. So that's why I have it. All right. You want takeaways?
Yeah, and I got a little story, by the way. It's going to
You have
sound
any
like
good
a
takeaways today?
total explanation, a total excuse, but it just, I think, will give you some context as to some of the play calling.
Okay.
Because it's come up a bunch on the College Football Road. I was sharing this with Brady last night for a story that he's doing on Geno, which is going to be awesome. But yeah, I got a little context to add to some of the challenges of yesterday that I haven't shared quite yet.
Well,
and I'd
that'll
like to
be
next.
in takeaways next.
Hawks Live.
Thursday nights from 7 to 9.
Live from Bellevue Square Center Court. Join former Seahawks Michael Bumpus and Paul Moyer as they go deep on the Hawks with player interviews and opponents' analysis.
We're joined now by Drake Thomas. Talk to me about the Mike McDonald defense.
I think he really utilizes personnel well, and I think that the game plan and attacking teams and what they're doing is just on another level.
Presented by the Bellevue Collection.
Every Thursday night throughout the Hawks season.
Paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Public school is for other Bobs. Did you know Attorney General Bob Ferguson sends his kids to a private school while denying Washington parents opportunity scholarships to do the same? We spend $18,000 per K-12 public student in Washington, but for Bob, private education is for elites like him, not for your kids. Want a governor who doesn't believe in the public education system he promotes? Vote Bob. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors, Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
Hey, Seattle. Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Call Techline Roofing and trust the team I trust. With the strongest warranty in the business, Techline Roofing has you covered. That's TEKLINE roofing.com. Trust Techline.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Message and data rates may apply.
Breaking news. Contrary to popular belief, now is the perfect time to break into real estate. Educated investors everywhere are buying tax lien properties, something big banks have been doing for years. Now, people in your area can take advantage of this open secret. Tax Lien Wealth Builders is coming to Seattle this weekend for a live event where you learn how you can make real money buying and selling government-backed investment properties for 50 to 70% below market value. Learn how to buy and sell property and navigate the market like a pro at our 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle this weekend. Tax Lien Wealth Builders gives you the tools you need to invest confidently. Get a free wealth building kit when you register and attend a 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle. Text WEALTH to 52346. Hurry. With high demand, seats will fill up. Text WEALTH to 52346. Get a free wealth building kit now. Text WEALTH to 52346.
What does the Seahawks jersey mean? It's football.
Drops back, has time, loads up, throws. It's intercepted. Does he keep his feet in? He does. Seahawks ball.
It's community.
The stands are rocking right now. Nobody has left this place. It is pandemonium.
It's Seattle. This is your jersey. This is the Pro Shop. The Seahawks Pro Shop has the largest selection of Seahawks jerseys. Come try one on at the Landing in Renton or at Lumen Field.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, accurate auto body.
Well, on this morning, are you searching for a local, trustworthy group of pros to assist you with your mortgage needs? Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and you can count on my friends at Tila Mortgage. They've been the go-to mortgage experts, while many have opened and closed their doors in Washington. not Tila. They've been around for over 25 years. And if you're 62 or older and you've heard me talk about reverse mortgages, well, Tila can help you decide if it's the right choice for you and your family. If monthly payments are impacting your credit score and just killing your monthly cash flow, well, once again, Tila can assist you in consolidating your debts with proven programs like a refinance loan, where you hear me talk a bunch about this HELOC, this home equity line of credit. And additionally, heck, if you're purchasing a new home, congratulations. Tila can guide you through all the ins and outs of a new home loan as well. With hundreds of 5-star reviews, Tila, spelled T-I-L-A, is a trusted source for honest and ethical mortgage advice. Give them a call this morning. They're waiting for you. 206-766-8888. That's 206-766-8888. Or TilaMortgage.com. Tila Mortgage LLC is a mortgage broker, MLS 247-2046.
If you haven't heard yet, Toyota's Camry called an audible with the brand new hybrid 2025 Camry. And at Toyota of Kirkland, they're excited to put it in play. Backed by the lifetime powertrain warranty, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will set up your test drive so you can take home that 2025 hybrid Camry the same day. Come check it out at the amazing showroom at Toyota of Kirkland or visit online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk
Weekdays 6 to 10.
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Start an hour away.
Takeaways.
All right, an hour away from Mike McDonald's. And, yeah. It's 8:30, Brock. It must be time for takeaways. Jump right in.
Hey, Lyle. Thank you. I'm trying to
that
thank
one's
you.
on me.
I mean, I'm trying to think. It's like, unfortunately, when you play at Autzen Stadium, it's so loud, or Husky Stadium. I mean, I can't focus, Lyle. I need to focus. Appreciate that. So, do you know the name Jake Spavital?
Jake Spavital?
Spav. Jake Spavital.
I don't.
Do you know the name
Sorry.
Casey Dunn? The name
No.
Casey Dunn. Okay. Those are two Power 4 college football offensive coordinators, one at Baylor, one at Oklahoma State. Benetti is such a smart guy. One of the reasons I love working with him, he's fun, he's witty, he challenges me, he's great. But he's also such an astute guy, and his baseball background really helps him with numbers. So we're sitting in our production meeting, and both of those guys at Baylor and at Oklahoma State had to play Utah this year, Salk. And Utah is a keep-away team, a ball hog, win the line of scrimmage, dominate time of possession, going to own the ball. And both of those coordinators said the same thing when we played them. Like, Jason said, is it hard on you up there in the booth when you're kind of waiting? And they both said, to be honest, yes. It's hard to get into rhythm. And I find myself fighting myself like you can't get it all back at once. And, for Spavital, he's like, I played Utah 5 times. And I get 53 plays a game or 55 plays. And I know I got to make the most of them and maximize every one of them. Dunn said the same thing. When I'm sitting up there for 10 or 15 minutes of real time, I'm getting antsy, And I think, honestly, yesterday, that drive, that opening drive by New York, and it didn't result in points except for the Seahawks as they ran that sucker all the way back. I think it messed with Ryan Grubb a little bit. And just kind of mess with, okay, when I get the ball back, now you talk about balance and a run game and doing these things, like, okay, it's my first time calling plays in a half an hour, Like, I here we go. Let's dial it up. Let's, get the ball to DK. Let's get it to Tyler. Let's get the passing game going. And it just, when you hear people talk about rhythm,
yeah,
I think that jumped out to me as I watched Grubb, longtime college guy, first time he's in that position, right? First time where in real time, he sat up there for a half an hour. And oh, by the way, he watched the defense give it up and give it up and give it up and give it up.
He must have had some of that in college. Sometimes there's a half hour just for the refs to figure out what's happening on the field.
Oh, you're a funny guy.
I am.
Like a clown.
Thanks.
Funny.
Appreciate that.
Yes.
Takeaways.
It's a good point.
Think about not getting as many at-bats.
I get it. It's probably more like a pitcher.
You swing for the fences. Like, I don't get 5 at-bats this game. I got 2. And then
Right.
they're going to pinch hit me, and I got to, make the most of this. And I got to, overdo it. So...
The Seahawks were in that game right till the end yesterday, but I think maybe one reason why it just didn't feel that way is I think they got lucky. I think they got lucky early. I think that 102-yard fumble return was the wrong call. I think they, I don't think they could review it.
Had that been called a touchdown, it would have stood a touchdown.
I think it would have stood a touchdown. And
whatever
if you
the call
ask me
was on the field, yeah.
If you ask me what I think it was, I think it was a touchdown. Does that make sense? They didn't have a great angle of it. Is that not a top CBS crew? Because they didn't seem to have the best sideline angle, right?
Did you enjoy the commentary of that?
I enjoyed the play-by-play.
Yes.
I thought Catalan did a nice job.
Yes.
That's about as far as I'd like to go with that particular conversation. But
no, they did not have as many cameras, as many looks. No.
And without that camera, there was no way they could overturn it. I didn't see anything that made it clear and definitive. And I was trying to figure out whether the refs handled it the right way. You have to not blow the play dead, right? You've got to let it all play out.
Correct.
Because if they had blown it dead, either because they thought it was a touchdown or because they thought his knee was down, then you never would have been able to run it all the way back. So you've got to do the right thing and allow everything to play out before making a call. But I thought they would then get together and say, hey, we let it play out, but that's a touchdown. And when they didn't, I was like, oh, this is unbelievable. Like, this is a huge win for the Seahawks because I think that should have been probably a touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And they did the right thing on the field. You have to let it play out, as Gene Sarator said. And then ultimately, Salk, whatever was called on the field, that was going to stand.
But
if it was called a touchdown,
couldn't they have let it play out and then ruled it a touchdown for the Giants?
They could have, but there was no way.
That's what I think they should have. That would have been the optimal way to handle it.
But it was so stinking close.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it was not definitive in replay.
No, absolutely
so whatever the call was in that original call, and that's why that call is really important.
Yep.
Takeaways.
For better or worse, I judge the emotional heartbeat of a team by the defensive line. Like that is for 18 years of me calling college games, of watching these games so intently and with irrational emotion when I can control zero, as Molly still likes to tell me, 15 years into this job. But don't you understand what this means for this show? No, I don't. Because you have nothing to do with this game and your emotion has no bearing on what the outcome is. But after all these years of watching it, Salk, honestly, if you were to gauge and say, hey, how do you gauge the emotional heartbeat of a team? I judge it by their front, their defensive line. And you saw yesterday, Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau, who was down in Eugene, by the way, on Friday night watching the Ducks, and Burns. I judge it by those guys. And they played with their hair on fire. I can't say the same about the Seahawks D-line. I did not see tremendous output. I didn't see, and this isn't like questioning their effort or their want to. I just didn't see those guys playing with their hair on fire. When you run a stunt right into a draw and Daniel Jones runs right through 3 tackles, including your defensive lineman stunting into it, like that can't happen. You know, when you've got Daniel Jones free and just clean in the pocket and you just whiff, can't happen. When you can't defeat a block and get your hands on that guy and separate from that guy and tackle the running back before he's 5 yards to the second level, right? I thought from an emotional, just desperate, the Giants played with their hair on fire, especially in their front early. And I don't think the Seahawks, unfortunately, at home with a crowd that was electric, that was ready, that was right there on standby to just turn it up a notch. I just did not feel And this is a feeling thing. I just did not feel that same intensity from the Seahawks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to just even come up with plays they made. I mean, other than the one Jaron Reed play that he came up with late in the game,
right?
You just didn't really. I hate the word flash. It just drives me crazy. But no one did. I mean, I just didn't have a moment where I was like, oh, nice, there's Leonard Williams, or oh, there's Jonathan Hankins, or oh, there was Nwosu. I know he went out of the game at some point. Derek Hall. Like, they just didn't have moments like that. I heard the announcer say, and maybe this would mean more to you, certainly, than it did to me, that New York was attacking the edges. Did you feel that, and what exactly does that mean?
Yeah, I heard that as well. I mean, they did in part, but boy, they attacked Trey Brown constantly. They attacked the QB draw. They attacked between the tackles with their running back. Like, I did not feel like I didn't see a ton of screens and jet sweeps and options and, usually things just get you right on the edge. I felt like they game planned. They tried to really pick on some of the weaker areas. And then when you're able to run it, Salk, and get 5 yards of carry, we know on the other side what that feels like.
Right.
And how that slows down a defense and sets you up for success. And I thought they were able to impose their will much more than just any individual area they attacked.
Takeaways.
Well, this maybe leads back to one of yours, and you said you would get to it, so I'll set you up for it, because it felt like the secondary got thin in a hurry. Reek Woolen goes out of the game, and you're like, man, this thing got real thin, and it already looked thin even with him in the game yesterday. So, A, how big of a concern is Trey Brown? I know he had a poor game yesterday. Is that so? I mean, it's not like he's been a problematic figure like that over and over again, where he's consistently been beaten over the course of his career.
He hadn't played that much in 4 years either.
No, I know, but we haven't seen that.
Mike Jack played ahead of him.
Well, I was going to get to that. Mike Jack is gone,
right,
and was traded for nothing. And I'm not even so much the fact that Trey Brown beat out Mike Jack, but he was traded for a undrafted free agent, Michael Barrett,
who
they
linebacker.
cut a couple weeks later.
Yep.
I mean, you just you essentially gave away Mike Jackson, and maybe you were going to do that anyway, but.
Yeah.
You got two rookies that you picked up. They're both late round picks. One didn't make the team. I don't know where Artie Burns is at. Is he healthy? Is he hurt? Is he around? Kobe Bryant. Could you have gone 3 safeties and more Kayvon Wallace? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that is going to be now up for competition. And Mike McDonald talked about that after the game, whether that is Pritchett and Trey Brown are up for competition. And Pritchett came in there and got a big stop on 3rd down and was at least, just kind of twitchy and in the pocket of that wide receiver. I don't know. Do you think about, again, back to Jack's call last hour? Jack, that's 2 shout-outs for you, man. Strong call.
Jack's a good caller. He always is.
Yeah, and do you think about, well, is maybe Spoon better suited at corner? Like, when you just look at, like, the delta, right, the difference between these different positions. If you put Artie Burns or Kobe Bryant at nickel and you put Spoon out there at corner and you matched him yesterday on Slayton, would you have been better off than, playing Spoon at nickel where they can just kind of pick on and isolate and throw at Trey Brown? I mean, I think those things now, when you have a game like that where you don't make one stop, right? You don't make one defining disruption and you get beat over the top, you get beat for a touchdown, you get beat on 3rd downs, you get beat by grabbing receivers. Like, that wasn't a bad game. I mean, that was as tough a game as you're ever going to have as a corner, which I then think does have to lead the staff to going, okay, I mean, are we better with Artie?
That's a fair question.
Yeah, it's absolutely a fair question. Absolutely a fair question. And
certainly if you got, if you're going to be without someone like Reek Woolen, then it's got to become almost a mandatory thing.
And Reek had an ankle, and Reek playing 3 days after that here on this Thursday night, which comes in an absolute hurry, may be difficult.
Gets 3 pretty good receivers that San Francisco will throw at you.
Takeaways.
So if the defensive line, to me, is the emotional heartbeat engage, probably second on that list is tackling. And remember the opener against Denver? I know New England was a little bit rough, but then they bounced right back. Remember just some of the ferocious tackling we watched? Like, oh, man, these guys are laying it on the line, right? After every one of those games. Did you feel that last night?
No.
Did anybody tackle well yesterday?
The Giants.
I mean, Julian Love had one nice tackle in space where he came down on the tight end.
No,
Theo
I think
Johnson.
Baker did. Baker's the one guy that I thought jumped out. I thought
Baker had a couple.
I know people kept saying nobody, not one Seahawk had a good game. I think Baker had a decent game.
He was okay. He also got chopped down on a third down run. He also had Daniel Jones right there, stopped on a QB draw. I mean,
I'm being generous today.
You are.
I'm a generous fella.
Yeah, the tackling, and I'll ask Mike about that. And again, that shows up, Salk, when you don't practice.
I knew you were going to go there because that's always been something. You've said that for years.
Practice. We're talking about practice. Man, we're talking about practice.
Is it also something, though, that shows up when you're tired?
Yes.
And so, like, you're sort of in this bind here with these 3 games in 11 days where you do need practice to help the tackling, but also you're beat up. You've got to play an unusual amount of games. You got to really kind of balance the need for practice with the need for rest.
You do. It's really hard. And I would have thought, honestly, the tackling would have been a little more on point since they got a lot of rest on Tuesday. You took the pads off and did a walkthrough on Wednesday, right? You had like 1 day in pads, but it just... Man, it is this line that you walk, and I know Mike's going to probably have a pause and try to think about how I want to answer this, and like that line between how much do I push him, and you know, I do think at times there's a feel to that when you want to talk about like a first-year coach doing this and some of the decisions that aren't just in game. It isn't just, do I go for it on fourth? Do I go for it here, right? Those decisions you make over the course of the week to have your team just on the razor's edge and just so ready to go out there in the NFL and hit and dominate, because it's hard. It is hard over 17-game marathon, man. You're going to lose some battles to win the war, and, you know, you're going to lose some battles during a practice week where you take pads off to hopefully get yourself ready to go, so you're just on a you know, you're just ready to just explode. And New York felt that way. New York felt that way, and they had extra rest, and they were desperate, and they were 1-3, and they'd heard all the hate, and they had a big chip on their shoulder, and they were the underdogs, and you don't have neighbors, and you guys suck. And guess what they did, man?
Yeah.
Came out and played with that kind of fervor.
Takeaway. All right, this takeaway starts as a question. Is A.J. Barner already the best tight end on this team? It feels like it, looks like it from my, you know, unprofessional standpoint. I'm probably missing a bunch of his rookie mistakes that I'm sure he's making, and I'm sure that Fant does stuff that I can't see. But for 3 years now, I feel like I've always been somewhat let down by Fant, like waiting for that thing that everybody else seems to see that I just don't quite see with him. And I've been consistently and pleasantly surprised by Barner. He was the 4th player that they drafted this year. Right now, he looks like the 2nd best.
You know what he does? He plays fast, and that's what your eye sees. He doesn't play like a rookie where he's thinking. He plays like a guy that's been around and reacting, and that's a real credit, and you felt that from day one. Mario Bailey, I remember sitting out there at training camp. Mario's like, man, this 88 is nice. And, you know, former stud himself, and the guy that played on the perimeter as a receiver, he could see it. He played with Mark Brunell and Ernie Conwell and some tight end greats. And, like, Barner from day one, man, a little banged up right in camp early in the OTA. I think he had a hamstring early.
G's been saying the same thing, and that takes a lot for G to say something nice about a guy from Michigan.
Team up north.
He looks good. And is there something that Fant does that I'm missing?
Not necessarily.
Okay, because they paid him in the offseason, which shocked me at the time, because for 2 years I felt like he's okay. Like, I just don't see anything great. He makes the catches occasionally.
Yeah,
but
I mean, what it is all those traits. 6'6", 255, jump out of the gym, run a 4, like all those traits.
None of those traits seem to show up on the...
Yes.
They always get more leeway.
They do.
None of those traits seem to show up on the field. And after 2 years in, like, I get why you traded for the traits. I'm not sure I understand why you re-signed the traits for pretty decent money, too.
Takeaways.
Okay, this is going to be a little uncomfortable one. But I just got to...
I like a good uncomfortable one.
I know, and I love how you pose a question to kind of make it less uncomfortable or try to do some of that. That's your wonderful trick after all these years.
Yes.
So let me just pose a question that I have asked some. And that is, and it'll be a good conversation for Daniel and Jeremiah on Wednesday because we had some of it last Wednesday when we looked at Amon-Ra St. Brown and we looked at Jackson Smith and Jigba. And we looked at their traits coming out of school and the fact that they were very similar guys. And even Amon-Ra St. Brown at his pro day or combine ran like 4.58, which is why he just tumbled in the draft because, Salk, you've got to be fast and quick when you're undersized. And Jackson is not the biggest dude. And it like DK is unbelievably big and fast. Jackson's on the smaller side, and he's unbelievably quick. And short area quickness and balance and strength are awesome. But I'm really starting to wonder, is he fast enough to be a difference maker? Is he fast enough to be great? I think Jackson can be good in this league. I can catch 50 balls and 800 yards and 7 touchdowns and absolutely be good in this league. Can he be great in this league? And the comp that I honestly go to is velo. Emerson Hancock throws 92, 93, and he can be good at that. But are you ever going to be great like Logan and these guys that throw 97, 98? It forces that hitter, right? That hitter gets in there and he's never comfortable because there's 5 pitches and then I've always got 98 in the back of my head. When you're covering Jackson, hey man, he's super quick and he's a great route runner and he's got tremendous hands. And I know that was a brutal drop for him yesterday, that if it hurts me and it hurts you, it kills him. And he didn't sleep, I'm sure, last night because he's an unbelievable competitor as well. But man, you've just got to have at times a gear in this league to scare that opponent, right? You just got to have that something in your pocket that at any point, man, you sit on my quickness or you try to do that, I'm going to run right by you. And that is something here in about 20 games that I'm just starting to wonder, man, is there enough straight line, fast speed, game speed to really scare that guy on the other side? Or are you going to be just a really, really, really good possession receiver, which has value? On third down has value.
But is it drafted at number 20 value or 22,
Right.
whatever he was? Especially, how's the other kid doing, the kid in Baltimore, Flowers? I know he was good last year. How's he been this year?
I haven't seen, but that dude is scary fast.
Right.
Scary fast and threatens you and challenges you, and now he's not as disciplined and he doesn't run routes, and they drafted him to be a third down difference maker. And that's the other bummer of yesterday. When that room was divided and there was coaches on both sides of it and coaches that loved Zay and wanted Zay because of that speed and others that said, nope, I want this absolute technician and pro and third down difference maker, and
better make that catch.
You got to make that catch now.
Zay Flowers has 24 receptions for 269 yards this year. One touch.
Not great. Kind of
Takeaways.
I saw this headline last night from Field Gulls, and I guess it was something I had been sort of thinking about, but hadn't necessarily put into words yet. I think the headline goes pretty far, but okay. Seahawks special teams is a massive liability under Jay Harbaugh. I don't know whether I'm going to come out and say they're a massive liability yet, but there's some pretty decent points made in this article, and kind of backs up what your eyes see, which is that special teams definitely have not been a strength so far through the first 5 games of this season. And they kind of go through each part of it, whether it's, the punting, which has been problematic this year compared to the last few years, or when he's actually had good punts that should be down inside the 5, they're not able to make that play, which is one thing that happened yesterday.
Yeah.
Some of the lost yardage on, whether it's penalties or letting the ball go or whatever, special teams haven't been great. They haven't allowed too many big returns against them, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, they haven't been a real positive.
No, they've not been a positive, but have they been a big negative? I
thought they were a negative, but massive liability felt a little much to me.
No, but Dixon's got to get on it, man. Dixon's had balls go into the end zone on his own. Yesterday, a ball that you've got it down at the 5, inside that 5. You got to make that play. Those are, again, some of the fundamentals that Mike McDonald, I know, is going to talk about in 35 minutes. That when you watch that tape, and they got to put this tape to bed in a hurry. And I bet you when McDonald's done with us, it'll be a quick I don't even know what a Monday meeting on a Thursday game looks like, but you put this game to bed in a hurry because you got to turn the page immediately and get ready for Thursday night. But these these fundamental details, these things that you just know this in this league. There's want-tos and there's have-tos. And when you have the fundamental opportunity to be a difference maker and you don't deliver, you have a hard time winning games.
No doubt. All right, there you go. That is a full set of takeaways from an unfortunate loss yesterday. They were outplayed. They did make some mental mistakes, concentration mistakes. They were in the game, had the opportunity to win. I'm glad we're not sitting around complaining about the officiating today. I'm glad that we've kind of gone through it and recognized that there's not a penalty that should have been called on the field goal block, that it was a legal play. And Mike Pereira said it, and Mike McDonald said it. I mean, like, you name it, everybody has said that is not an illegal play in any way. That's just a play you got beat on. So that's the conversation. And certainly we'll have some questions as Mike McDonald comes in here in just over a half hour at 9:30. Before we do it, the Huskies were the one team around here that won this weekend, and they took down number 10 Michigan. How did they do it, and what does it bode for the future? Why was Brock so sure this would occur? We'll talk to the man who got it right, Brock Heward, next on Brock and Salk.
Get ready for Thursday Night Football. Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to watch the Seahawks host the San Francisco 49ers October 10th.
Holy catfish!
Head to the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter for your chance to win. You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter via the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds will be.
Touchdown, Seahawks!
Listen to it every day, October 2nd through October 7th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win.
Get ready, because it's here now. One of the biggest heavy equipment and truck auctions of the year. Produced by the Murphy Auction Company, this 3-day event features a huge assortment of heavy equipment, heavy trucks, cars, vans, SUVs, and tools. Like 5 CAT 140H graders, 9 telescopic forklifts, 13 diesel-powered excavators, 6 wheel loaders, 3 skid steer loaders, and a 2009 John Deere 850J dozer. Also find 4 Peterbilt 365 Super Solo dump trucks, 1 Mack Super Solo, and 15 other dump trucks. If you need a tractor or a Vector, we got those as well. And for homeowners, if you're looking for a gas-powered excavator or wheel loader, we got over 140 to choose from. Preview all items at our Marysville location, corner of 136th and State Street in Marysville, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. Do not miss this major auction event. Visit murphyauction.com for all details. That's murphyauction.com.
For top quality fencing, trust Contour Fence, locally owned and operated since 1984. For residential or commercial, visit contourfence.com. Use code HAWKS10 for 10% off repairs or replacements and schedule a free consultation today. That's contourfence.com.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and as you know, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I'm honored to partner with the Harnish Auto family and the Carol Milgar Breast Center in the fight against breast cancer. For every test drive this month, they'll donate $25 on your behalf. Simply visit any of their 6 amazing dealerships, including Subaru, Volkswagen, and Chevy Buick GMC of Puyallup, or Kia and Chevy of Everett. No purchase necessary. Just take a spin and make a difference. It's the Harnish Auto family, where people matter.
This might be the most surprising statistic I've shared in decades of doing local news. More than 75% of commuters will be involved in a car accident at some point. JP Pendergast of Pendergast Law with more.
What makes it more surprising? The average person will be involved in 3 to 4 collisions in their lifetime.
With accidents unbelievably prevalent, what are some safety tips if it happens to you?
Safety first. Secondary collisions are not uncommon while awaiting help. Turn on those hazards and remain in a safe place. If a bystander witnessed the accident, capture their information and encourage them to remain at the scene. Seek medical attention immediately if needed, as delaying can be a costly mistake. Lastly, remember that statements made to police and insurance adjusters can affect your case.
Collisions are more common than we'd like to think. If you find yourself in one, follow these helpful tips and then call my friends at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one's injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
PendergastLaw.com.
Want to listen to Seattle sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
Washington State ranks number 4 in the country for auto theft. The most high-risk vehicles are Kia, Hyundai, Ford F-150, F-250, and F-350. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep yourself and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
This is a paid political announcement. A Bob for Bob update. Under 12 years of Bob Ferguson as Attorney General and Chief Prosecutor, we in Washington have seen a lot of increases. This, of course, includes a 26% increase in violent crime, 58% increase in homicides, and Washington ranking 4th in the country in stolen vehicles in 2023, behind California, Texas, and Florida. Oh, and according to the FBI, Washington was the 8th most dangerous state between 2020 and 2022. Don't ask for help if you drive a Hyundai or a Kia that's been stolen. What has AG Bob Ferguson done? Bob's been busy planning his governor's campaign and keeping Washington last in the country in law enforcement officers per citizen. As the leader of the Bob for Bob committee, I encourage you to vote Bob if you want more of these crippling policies for Washington, so Bob gets what he's always wanted, governor. Paid for by the Bob for Bob Committee, 1283 Puyallup, Washington, 98371. Top 4 donors, Steve Gordon, Fremont Dock Company, Brian Haywood, and Susie Burke.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
Give me a freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
Brought to you by Simply Seattle.
We're going to accuse you of minutes.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
All right, final hour of our Monday morning here. Mike McDonald will take up the second half of it. He'll join us in 30 minutes, and we'll obviously got a lot of questions about the game from yesterday. Before we do it, though, the Huskies took down Michigan. Brock, you had a really good feeling about this last week.
Yeah, I did. And I know the line eventually changed to favor, I think, the Huskies by a point. You went into the beginning of the week, and it was Michigan by 3. And I think, honestly, is the shark, what do they call them? Sharks?
The Sharp.
The Sharp. Yep. And I know one of them. And in fact, he texted me, I think on Wednesday or Thursday. I've told you the story of this guy. I love him. He used to be a stat guy and on one of my crews, and he's, does a professional job of this and like is a math teacher and knows numbers. And yeah, like he hit me as well. And by the end of the week is like, man, I think the Huskies are going to win. Chatted with some folks on that production team, and after their meetings with both sides, felt like, man, I think the Huskies have a chance to win, and just kind of further emboldened my belief that, yeah, I think coming into Husky Stadium and just the way that Washington played, even at Rutgers, like they dominated so much of that game, over 500 yards of offense, and they possessed the ball, and they gave themselves so many chances, but their third downs, their red zone, their situational ball was just so problematic. They couldn't beat Rutgers, and same could be said for Wazoo, although 16 penalties in that game totally sabotaged it. So you kind of looked at those games and thought, honestly, if the Huskies could just play their opponent and not play their opponent in themselves, even if it is big bad Michigan, who has some dudes now. I mean, John Schneider was at the game. He was on the sidelines pregame for a reason, because Kenneth Grant, that D tackle for Michigan, is Dexter Lawrence. I mean, he runs 4'9", 4'8" at 350 pounds. I mean, he's just not a human. And the Husky guys in the middle were just hanging on for dear life and trying to just get in his way at times. And the other D tackle's a monster as well. So they had some dudes, but the Huskies they didn't defeat themselves, Salk. And then eventually that Jack Tuttle, who had a great second and third quarter, gets to the fourth quarter, scrambles, and you punch that ball loose. Huge play. And then you turn around and Fabiculanen, the veteran safety, makes a tremendous play, jumping underneath an in cut on the tight end and gets you the interception. And you took the ball away twice, and you were penalized just twice, and you finished in the red zone. And some of your difference makers were better than their difference makers, and you come away with just a huge win, I felt like as well. Remember when Jed joined us? Salk, one of his first, times with us, and said, I really want to put together, my aim is to put together the best recruiting class in the history of this program. Want to do that for the 25 class. And a win like Saturday night goes a long way to keeping all those kids that are committed. Right now, it's a top 20 class, nearing top 15 class. And who knows, when it's all said and done, how the rest of the season unfolds. But what a win like that does on that stage against that team is it keeps those recruits like, ooh, that's what it can look and feel like. And there were a bunch of them there in the building as well. So I thought that was pretty important on top of all of it.
So where do you think they're at now? I mean, like, it's sort of Michigan is not what it was last year, obviously. I mean, they took a pretty big tumble from 10 all the way down to 24. You had sort of made it seem, at least to me, like they were kind of, overrated a little bit at number 10 anyway, which is one of the reasons you picked Washington to win. So, I know that one thing we are seeing in the Big Ten is these teams that are having to travel a couple of time zones are struggling a lot to win those games because it's new and it's stupid and it's not the way college football is meant to be played over and over again.
Agreed.
So what after whatever it is now, 5 games?
6.
Who are 6
2.
games? Who are they?
Yeah, they are not Ohio State and they're not Oregon. And seeing Oregon again for the second time, just as a roster, they're not there. They don't have that kind of depth and that kind of firepower. And you're not, Ryan Day is 6, 7, 8 years in, and Dan Lanning's 3 years in. Like, this is year 1. This is 6 weeks in. So you're not there roster wise. But like this weekend, they're 1-point underdogs at Iowa. I mean, can they win at Iowa, in Iowa City, if they don't beat themselves? Do they have more dynamic dudes? Do you know that after the loss of Roma Dunze, do you know that Denzel Boston is second in college football with 8 touchdown receptions? Wow. This little Jonah Coleman's averaging 100 yards a game. He's on pace to run for over 1,200 yards this year. I mean, those are difference makers. So, those are dudes. Will Rogers has thrown 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's 5th in college football in completion percentage. Right? He's getting the ball out of his hand. And oh, by the way, this Belichick guy defensively has done a hell of a job. Like, I'm looking at these different pieces from Sacramento State and Montana State and Sacramento and Nevada, and he's making the most of them and getting the very most out of them, which is what great coaches are supposed to do. This is a top 10 defense. The Huskies, by metric, are a better defense than Iowa. They're top 10 in total defense. They're top 10 in scoring defense. They're top 5 in pass defense. They're doing some great stuff. So they're sitting here at 4-2, which, really shoulda, coulda, woulda be 5-1 with a second half that's going to be a lot tougher. It's going to include Penn State, going to include SC, going to include Oregon. Going to be really hard, to even get to 8 wins because of that loss of Rutgers or Wazoo. You got to find a way to win one of those. But, man, I think the trend line is going the right way. And that's what is, I think, the singular most important thing.
Now, hopefully it doesn't go too far the right way because then you'll just lose Jedd Fisch.
I don't know. Florida's kind of turned it around, and they've won a few in a row, and they're 3-2, and there's some pretty average teams.
If you're a Jedd Fisch Husky fan, you're rooting hard for Florida, right?
Yeah, I think you're kind of rooting hard for Florida, but I think there's also a Deion Sanders there at Colorado that would probably really like to go to Florida, and he can win, and there could certainly be all sorts of really fun, ridiculous moving pieces. I did realize this, though, and this is one of the nice things about doing a Husky game, is I'll get to take a deep dive, and my Washington Wednesday will be the best ever this week because I do kind of really start to dig in. Do you know that I am 20-something days older than Jedd Fisch? Would that have surprised you? If you would have had a bet of who's older, me or Jedd Fisch, would you have picked me or Jedd Fisch? Dude has been 20 places in football. I thought for sure. And nothing against, I'm not even talking aesthetics. I
would have just gone aesthetics. I feel like you look younger than Jedd Fisch. But I'm just going aesthetics here.
It took you a while, by the way. You took your glasses off. You had to chew on your, why did you have to do something? Was it that hard?
I was just trying to, think about what he looks like and imagine him. I mean, I get to see you a lot.
Yeah.
I don't watch him every day.
Maura, Lyle, would you have guessed that I'm 20 days older than Jed?
Never.
Maura, Lyle?
No.
Maura, Lyle? Hello?
Yeah, no way. Is that?
You're just being nice. But I thought, honestly, I think he's been, well-traveled in a lot of different spots, in Belichick and KIRO, NFL and college. And I'm like, what? He's younger than me? He's 48. He's younger than me? Yeah, he's younger than me.
He's older than me. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, just by a couple
Definitely
years.
older than Lyle. I know that. Lyle's the wrong person to ask because all of us just seem old to him. So it doesn't the difference between Jed Fish or you or me or Methuselah. It doesn't really matter. We're all basically in the same conversation for him. All right. Mike McDonald will join us in 20 after everything you need to know next. It's Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is joining us right now. What's it been like with a new offense?
It's been great. I've been loving the coaching staff. They've been, working with us real well. We've been meshing real well. And, I had a good feeling, during training camp and when I first got here. And it's exceeded my expectations. So, we just got to take advantage of everything that we have and just try to put our best foot forward.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here, and I've had a litany of injuries over the years. Yes, I've had separated shoulders and dislocated ankles and torn cartilage in my ribs and dislocated fingers and concussions. But you know what? You don't have to have had to play professional sports to know what I'm talking about. Many of you wake up on the daily with painful joints from tendonitis or bursitis or, oh, God forbid, arthritis, which can affect anyone and makes it hard to do pretty much anything. And that is where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine over there in Kirkland comes into play. He has seen so many patients that have suffered from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. And you do not need to let pain stop you from your quality of life. Consider my buddy, Dr. Nelson, the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques. No matter what walks through the door, more than likely, Dr. Dan has seen it all and then has the tools to take care of it. So give him a call this morning. He's waiting for you. Dr. Daniel Nelson, MD, at 425-823-4000, 425-823-4000, or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
The seasons are changing, and if you're thinking it's time to change what you drive, the incredible team at Toyota of Kirkland will get you charged up with the BZ4X. Toyota's all-electric crossover SUV features an estimated range up to 252 miles, getting you where you need to go. Test drive the BZ4X at the electrifying showroom at Toyota of Kirkland and take it home the same day. Visit in person today at Toyota of Kirkland or online at toyotaofkirkland.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Breaking news. Contrary to popular belief, now is the perfect time to break into real estate. Educated investors everywhere are buying tax lien properties, something big banks have been doing for years. Now, people in your area can take advantage of this open secret. Tax Lien Wealth Builders is coming to Seattle this weekend for a live event where you learn how you can make real money buying and selling government-backed investment properties for 50 to 70% below market value. Learn how to buy and sell property and navigate the market like a pro at our 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle this weekend. Tax Lien Wealth Builders gives you the tools you need to invest confidently. Get a free wealth building kit when you register and attend a 2-hour Tax Lien Wealth Builders live event right here in Seattle. Text WEALTH to 52346. Hurry. With high demand, seats will fill up. Text WEALTH to 52346. Get a free wealth building kit now. Text WEALTH to 52346.
This is the day of the big sale at your gift shop.
Welcome in.
So this isn't just a big day for your business. It's a big day for the network keeping it all connected. That is, if it can handle the pressure.
Next in line, please.
So is it possible to get business internet you can really count on? It is. With 99.9% network reliability from Comcast Business. It's like this neat little bow.
Do you like that gift wrap?
Really ties it all together. Reliable internet for your business. It's not just possible. It's happening. Comcast Business. Powering possibilities.
Switch to Comcast Business and get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get up to a $500 prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to switch today. Offer ends 10/13/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet. Eco bill and auto pay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply.
Seahawks Player Spotlight.
Man, it felt good to go out there and be able to contribute.
Exclusive interviews with your favorite Seahawks.
You know, we got a genius as the head coach.
Every day with Wyman and Bob.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
At 65 years old, Brian has a rather demanding hobby.
My biggest passion is snow skiing, and I ski between 70 and 80 days per year, and I ski instruct at a private resort in Montana.
Needless to say, that can be a bit tough on the joints.
When this knee started to bother me, I thought I'm doomed.
That's when Brian decided to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
If I did yard work or skied a few days in a row, I was fighting swelling and pain and no sleep and all sorts of problems, and that has absolutely gone away.
So are you back on the slopes?
I mean, I had a 14-day stretch with clients where I skied every day and had no problem. It was fine. It was just like, I felt like new.
So I'm guessing you would recommend this to others.
Oh, I already have. I've told everyone that'll listen.
Whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
It's really, truly a miracle.
Need to know. Brought to you by Ben's Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Brock, you're right. That 3rd and 17 yesterday that the Giants converted with the screen pass, right from there, you could kind of tell it wasn't going to be the right sort of day. Didn't mean they were definitely going to lose, but that something was off with the Seahawks yesterday, and it's such a bummer. I really felt like going in, they were just going to beat that Giants team, who I think is not a terrible football team, but they have their problems. And I thought the Seahawks were going to go ahead and beat them. And instead, both the offense and the defense, and ultimately special teams, had really lousy days. They did not do what they needed to do to win that game. And Mike McDonald, cut to, says it starts with the very basics.
We got to call a better game. And when we are in those plays, we have to execute better and tackle and leverage the ball better. I mean, it's fundamental football that we're coming up short. And that's what's disappointing right now.
Hard to disagree with that, Salk. That eye in the sky doesn't lie. I know what I saw with my 2 eyes, sometimes 4 eyes. When I put my glasses on, I rewound a play to watch it a little bit closer. But I know when the game tape comes out, and I know McDonald and crew watching that either last night or this morning, oh man, is it going to be painful. Just that technique. And when he says leverage is, man, understanding where my buddy is next to me, and I'm going to leverage this ball and make sure I kind of set him up for success. Leverage is, hey, man, understanding these are the routes that we're going to get, and for Trey Brown, like, here's the technique we've got to have. And you let that guy cross your face time after time after time after time. You're not big enough to disrupt the football. And a 37-minute time of possession. 37 and a half. It is, this league is hard to win any game. We hear that from players and coaches all the time. And when your opponent is playing keep away for 37 and a half of the 60, it becomes that much more difficult.
Yeah, 15-minute difference in time of possession yesterday, which is about as bad as it can get. And so guess what? You don't get a lot of opportunity to try to turn this thing around because you got to play San Francisco on Thursday Night Football. Cut 3, Mike McDonald knows you got to work your way through this.
Doesn't matter how hard it is. Nobody has any, nobody cares. We got to work harder. That's the way it is. It's an opportunity to go make it right in 4 days. That's really what we need to focus on.
Well, and San Francisco's coming off a loss of their own. I mean, they did not play very good football yesterday either. They lose to Arizona, a team that I'm sure they believe they should have beaten, so they both fall to 2-3. Rams 1-4, so, you know, as ugly as things kind of feel this morning, you're still in first place in the division, and it's a division where all the other teams are all under 500 right now.
Man, and Thursday night, and we'll talk a lot about it the next few days, so Thursday night is just gut check time. Right? Couple losses in a row, a little bit of it, not a little bit, a lot of adversity with some injuries and guys banged up and beat up and tired and all the rest. But you win on Thursday night. You get that kind of quasi bye with, 3-4 extra days off. Goes a long ways. And both sides are smart, man. San Francisco's beat up. They're hurt. They've lost a few more games than they've ever expected. Yeah, Thursday night prime time will be gut check time, big time.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
That was 4 times right there.
You said it 4 times in a row.
4 times.
Doesn't necessarily make up for the loss in January, but big credit to Jed Fish and for the Huskies. They take down number 10 Michigan on Saturday. Didn't make that many mistakes. Didn't get called for a ton of penalties. They were the cleaner team, actually, in this game. Cut 9. Jed Fish says that's one of the reasons they were able to win.
I thought our players did a great job tonight. We played a good football team. Number 10 team in the country. And we challenged them all week to be good. Third down, we challenged them all week to score touchdowns when we had opportunities to score touchdowns. And we certainly challenged them all week to not give anything away. Penalties are always going to happen in a game, but what we didn't do is we didn't hurt ourselves in a manner that we could play 2 teams. I said, let's just play 1 this week. Let's play Michigan. And I felt our team, our players, our staff did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, they did a great job defensively. I mean, they rendered Alex Orji impotent early, and he ends up leaving to go take a seat with, the whole group on the sidelines. So, I mean, good job by them.
Oh, thank God. That's over. That's in the rearview mirror. We don't have to deal with this nonsense from you anymore. I was proud Saturday night. I wasn't proud they just won and played their butts off and everything else.
You're proud at the fans for showing that they don't belong in the same field.
I was proud of Husky Stadium in all of its glory. I was proud of that purple. I was proud that the country got to see. I was proud of the drone shots and the blimp shots and everything that NBC threw at that in prime time, Salk, to, it's like your house when you have people over. And, it's just in perfect form. Your lawn is meticulous. Your lines are awesome. Your edging is great. The house has been cleaned. It smelled like all of it was perfect. And then they went out and played a really clean game as well.
By storming the field, you're essentially saying these walls are fake.
Push, Lyle, push. Here we go.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
I've already given my rant for the day. I don't think I need to do it again. Baseball playoffs have been awesome. Edwin Diaz, tough day yesterday as he gave up 3 runs and let the Phillies come back late. Mets tied it up, and then Castellanos walked it off. So that series is 1-1 going back to New York. San Diego and L.A. also 1-1 after the Padres hit 7 home runs last night. Tempers flaring in that series as hit batters and frustration and just sort of generally not liking each other has made that. Lyle's absolutely right. Best rivalry right now going in baseball.
Padres and Dodgers?
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. They don't like each other, and there's an arms race. I mean, it doesn't have the history of the Red Sox Yankees in the early part of 2000s, but it's got a lot of the other things with the arms race and the same division and the back and forth and playoff series. It's not exactly the same, but I think he's right. It's got some similarities.
You know what else I'm feeling, and we'll see as it continues to play out, is and we know this in baseball, it's like depth on a football team. Man, so many of these lineups are lengthened, and there's just not many gimmies or just futile at-bats or just like, oh, I hope we can just put them. Like, there's danger. It's so many turns in so many of these lineups.
Weird though, like these games, like some of them are won by the Aaron Judges and the Pete Alonsos of the world, and then some of them have these completely unlikely heroes as the big guys in the lineup do nothing. It's so hard to draw through lines, I think, through any of these things. It's been fun to watch, though. That is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. I did find myself getting annoyed at Derek Jeter, though, last night.
We could tell.
Yeah. Shut up, Jeter. Oh, these guys, these bullpen relievers are not used to it and this and that. Like, back in my day, dude, your guy Joe Torre burned out every single reliever he ever had. because he used them too much all season long. Whatever, Derek. Okay. Sorry. Had to get that out. I just had to get that out. It's been building in me since yesterday.
No, you got a couple of these little ranches. Get them out.
You know who I really
like?
like?
A lot of things have been building in you over the weekend.
The Derek Jeter and storming the field are two things I can't stand. What can I tell you? The Seahawks also lost yesterday. I don't think anybody was wild about that, not least of which was Mike McDonald. We will sit down with him for a conversation about what happened and what they do now moving forward. We'll do it next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is joining us right now. What's it been like with a new offense?
It's been great. I've been loving the coaching staff. They've been, working with us real well. We've been meshing real well. And, I had a good feeling, during training camp and when I first got here. And it's exceeded my expectations. So, we just got to take advantage of, of everything that we have and just try to put our best foot forward.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Buy a heat pump, get a furnace free. Now from Deere Services. You heard right. Buy a new heat pump, get a new furnace free from Deere Services. Save now and combine the year-round benefits and comforts of both systems, giving you warm winters and cool summers. Make an appointment at DEARservices.net and we'll be there within 3 hours guaranteed. And get this, no service fees. Buy a new heat pump, get a new furnace free now at Deere Services. Seattle Seahawks, small business partners.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. Hey Seahawks fans, Tyler Lockett for Brown Bear Car Wash. We've got the perfect play for a spotless car. With the Unlimited Wash Club, you can keep your car game ready all season long. It isn't clean unless it's Brown Bear clean.
Hey Seattle, Jaden Schwartz for Techline Roofing. Call Techline Roofing and trust the team I trust. With the strongest warranty in the business, Techline Roofing has you covered. That's TEKLINE roofing.com. Trust Techline.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You're losing your hair and you want a simple solution that works. And you want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Parango and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration, from the experience itself to the unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, they were recently crowned 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. 425-449-8185. If you qualify, get $250 off and $250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185. Refine your hairline with a team that's redefined hair restoration. AdvancedHair.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
911, what is your emergency?
There's a fire in my building. Please send help right away.
What is the address of the fire?
My address. Hold on. Oh, wait. The fire sprinkler just went off, and it's putting out the fire.
Good to hear. The fire department will still be dispatched as a precaution.
Fires are fast, but fire sprinklers are faster. Fire sprinklers get water on a fire immediately to protect you and your property. Install fire sprinklers in your home or business today. Brought to you by Puget Sound Area Fire Protection Contractors.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
Are you looking for a construction loan to build your dream home? Are you a local builder needing a better financing option for your next spec project? Hi, I'm Scott Rireka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. Stop wasting time with local banks and credit unions and their endless guidelines. We're the experts for common sense residential construction loans. We lend our own money, we make our own decisions. And if your deal makes sense, we'll get it done fast with flexible terms. For homeowners, we advise you every step of the way with things like budget and timeline, ensuring the completion of your dream home. For builders, Legacy's not only your lender, we'll source your next deal, provide permitting services, and if you're short on equity, we'll invest alongside of you. Legacy Group Capital has lent more than $1 billion, helping over 130 local builders and hundreds of homeowners. We can help you.
Construction loans don't have to be hard. Borrow smart with a common sense construction loan from Legacy Group Capital. Visit LegacyG.com. LegacyG.com.
This hour is brought to you by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Nice. First couple weeks, you had 3 Seahawks wins as they find ways to beat Denver, beat New England, beat Miami, and then obviously last week on Monday night, the loss to Detroit. And I think there was just a little bit more of an expectation here that on, coming back home and Giants, this and that the game would go differently. That's not necessarily how the NFL works, Brock.
No, it's not. Nope. Go look around the league every single week. So can go look at games even in the midst of them where a team is way up and the other team battles all the way back. And seemingly, how in the world does this happen? Does it seem to come down to a play or two in almost any of these games in the NFL in the fourth quarter? Mm-hmm. And it kind of got to that point. I didn't necessarily feel that way because New York was so physical and ran the ball so well, but it was there. It was right there, and unfortunately just couldn't quite finish the deal.
All right, well, to talk all about it, we've got Coach Mike McDonald.
All right, let's go now. Let's go.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's a work in progress since the day you walk in the door.
Presented by Emerald Queen Casino.
Yes, sir.
Coach, good morning.
Morning.
How are we feeling today?
Yeah, I mean, not great. We want to. You should feel these losses. You should sting, should hurt, should motivate you to keep moving, keep working, and get better. So, I mean, what else can you do? You can't, especially a week like today or like a week like this, you can't sit around and sulk. It's okay to be upset, but you gotta look for ways to move on and improve so we can go make it right on Thursday.
Salk and I are very different, Mike, as you can imagine. I can't eat after a loss like that. Salk, he's a comfort food. He needs to eat. Where does Coach McDonald fit on that spectrum?
Well, normally I'm a comfort food type of guy, but after losses, I have a hard time eating. So probably both.
Eye in the sky. What did the actual game tape show you?
And this is gonna be a message to the team. It's what we thought after the game. We didn't play the way that we needed to play to win. All the things that we talk about in terms of execution, fundamentals, critical, high leverage situations, takeover margin, all those things just are pointed in the Giants' direction. So, got to give them credit for doing those things. And the good news is it's fixable on our end, but we're not getting it done right now. So that's the bad news. So that's what showed up.
Did you say takeover margin?
I just made that up on the fly.
Did you really? Or is that something you guys say in general?
No, we call it ball dominance.
Okay. Is that turnovers? Is that?
Yeah, I just try to keep it positive instead of saying like,
No, I love
don't give the ball away.
Right. Like it's actually somebody's taking it in one direction or another.
Yeah.
What else stands out to you as you watch? How do you get to that point? What leads to a lack of execution or some of the problems?
Well, there's a lot of conversations this morning, and you got to be brief and be up front with it. I mean, conversations about players and I'll leave that. That's private. That's in house. But it's open and it's honest, and it's going to be the same way with the guys when we see them, and then we got to go. And so some things are actual technique things. Some things are how we're playing certain plays on both sides of the ball, how we're IDing things offensively. And so you have to make those corrections because it's on tape. So unfortunately, we're finding, it's a combination of not finding new stuff to screw up. And yeah, I think that's where we're at.
Is it a little different, Coach, as you're gauging the energy level of the entire team versus the energy level of your defense, right? For years as a D coordinator, they're kind of gauging where your group is defensively and now trying to gauge the entire group, the entire team. Has that been a work in progress?
Well, everything's a work in progress. It's, you're always saying what decisions are we making and what's the best for the team. And so, even from last night to today, we're tweaking some of our schedule this week. And I think you just have to have that mindset to kind of move and shake and try to figure out what's best for the guys and what's best for the team and what they need to hear and how many reps you get and how you do it, in what order. I mean, all those things are, those are methods, right? We talk about methods are adjustable. The principle is doing it the right way and getting the right reps and making sure taking care of the guys' bodies and things like that.
How much of a factor was the short week?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna put a number on it. But this is like, hey, you want to be good? You want to play on Monday Night Football? You want to, if you want to be the team that we want to be, then that if you have success, not that like they scheduled the Monday Night Football game because we were 2-0, but at some point, if you're doing it right way, you're going to have short weeks. You got to be able to go out and play good the next week. That's a non-starter.
The 2 in a row, though, is rare to have 2 short weeks in a row. Did you and will you adjust to try to give guys more of a break because of it, or does that sacrifice too much practice? How do you handle the 2 short weeks in a row?
I think if it happens again, we'll go back and debrief on it. Right now, we're kind of in the thick of it. So, there's some things that I have in mind, but I thought we had a good schedule. We started late on Wednesday. We got all these things set up for the guys recovery-wise. Guys took advantage of it. We're not looking for excuses here on our operation or anything like that. We're attacking the process. That's the mentality. That's what we need to do today.
How do you feel about the tackling yesterday, Coach?
It's not good. It's not good. Some of it are angles. Some of it, guys aren't bringing their arms for whatever reason. And some are injury specific. But it's not. When you have multiple missed tackles in a game, it's never up to the standard of what you want. So, what do? You go back and you attack it, and you keep working the fundamental of it, and you practice the crap out of it in practice, and that's what you do. That's how you attack all the issues.
How much can you practice that? Is it still something at this level that you're having guys practice?
Oh, yeah. You ask our guys. We practice tackling every day, and we do feedback, and I think we do. Our coaches do a great job of coaching it. We just got to do it better on game day. It's that simple, and we got to confront those issues. But we practice tackling every day. The fundamentals of it, put them in different situations. The angles we take in practice is probably the best reps that you can get when it's full speed. And so, but we need to do it better consistently. And so I think that's the step that we need to take.
How about the high completion percentage against your team the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, we're not doing a good enough job denying the ball, especially on early downs. And there's some strategy going on involved that I don't really want to talk about like publicly. That And so I think we've adjusted decently during, probably good enough to make the necessary adjustments to keep us in the game towards the end. But we got to play those plays better. When we are in man-to-man situations, we have to keep our proper leverage that we're supposed to be in, and we got to win some of those one-on-ones. So, but we're not disrupting the timing like that we need to. It's a when you talk about affecting the quarterback, it's 11 guys. So it's what the quarterback thinks it is, getting him in passing situations, which we're not doing enough of. When the ball does want to come out fast, we're not disrupting the timing at the line of scrimmage. And then when he does hold on to it, when we do a good job on the back end, the rush has to come alive, which we just didn't create enough of those opportunities and didn't take advantage of when we were in them last night or yesterday.
I think, Mike, maybe all that stuff adds up to something you've said to us this year, which kind of was new to me from hearing from a defensive coordinator talk about anticipation. Always hear that with quarterbacks, right? I talk about it a lot on my broadcast. You got to anticipate that window. You got to anticipate. I hear you mention that just about every week with us defensively, which is a little bit new to me. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to guess your answer is everything you kind of just said right there. The best way for teams over your years of coordinating them to anticipate plays defensively is what?
Preparation throughout the week, and then understanding NFL football, man. Just any football for that matter. I mean, distributions, who's aligning where. The only way that you can anticipate and play with that type of speed is by having seen it. So if you haven't seen it before and you haven't been in that situation, then it's going to be really hard to anticipate what's about to happen. So you got to maximize that preparation throughout the week.
Did the Giants, hold on one second, Salka. Did the Giants do anything there? I know they had a few extra days to practice, and did they do anything there yesterday to disrupt some of that, change a bunch of tendencies, do kind of unique things that made maybe some of that anticipation difficult?
Look, I don't want to take credit away from them. I mean, look, they did what they were supposed to do, so you got to give them credit with how they ended up. I think they adjusted early in the game on some things they saw how we were playing, so then we had to adjust on how they were doing it. I don't know that for sure. I'm just going off of what they had shown on tape before, but the plays that they were running for the most part are everyone gets to the same plays. It's just how you dress it up. Mm-hmm. And then they're in certain areas of the field they had some shots and specials, but that's par for the course in any game. Teams are going to try to cook some things up in certain situations, and one in particular they hit on, and a couple other they didn't. And but on defense you have to defend everything. That's why it's defense. The offense is the ones that picks the plays, and you have to go knock them out.
I've been enjoying learning about your process and how you make decisions. What went into and how did you make the decision on the going for it on fourth down early in the fourth quarter?
It was. I think it was a decision throughout the week that we really liked our menu on the fourth downs. We felt confident in it. The numbers, again, you're not always going to put it on the analytic numbers, but we knew the model throughout the game and in those situations was a go, and so that's what we did. And I mean, it didn't work out for us. Is it the best call if the DN's going to play it exactly like that? No, it's not. It's not the right play to be in. But the best you can do is prepare the absolute best you can and try to make the right decisions. And we're going to learn from that. It doesn't mean we're not going to go for 4th and 1s in negative territory moving forward. That's not what we're saying. But it's obviously you wish you would have got it, but you look at your process and you say, okay, well, we had a play we liked, and we went for it and we didn't get it.
How do you feel like Gino handled everything yesterday, Coach?
Look, it's not like we're having him and I are having a debrief between each series. There's a lot going on there, but based on his body language, he was frustrated. I know that. Gino's a guy that cares a lot, which is why you love him, and he's so competitive, and he lays it on the line out there. How do you not support a guy like that? It's just so I thought he handled it pretty dang well. And at the end of the day, as bad as everything felt like it went, which you're looking at a halftime score of us being tied at 10-10 after giving up 1,000 yards to these guys in the first half, and having like 10 plays on offense. It's a tie football game. And then at the end of the game, we're in a position to maybe win the game and kick a field goal. So there's fight there. There's fight there with our guys. And that's something that we still have to build on. We're still in week 6 here. We're still in the growth stages of our team, and we got to go. We got to move on. I mean, it's the NFL. No one cares. no one feels bad for you, But I'll tell you this: the guys that we have in our locker room, those are our guys. And we're gonna go to war with those dudes, and they're the right guys for the job.
From your perspective, what happened on the field goal block?
Frankly, it's just a technique error, and they had a good scheme, but if we execute our protection the way we should be, then we shouldn't have a free jump through. So,
is that an alert when you got a dude like Isaiah Simmons? We had the same thing with Cam Chancellor years ago to block a kick and win it in a very similar vein to jump over. Yep. Is that something when you see a creature like Isaiah Simmons who is so doggone athletic that maybe there is an alert to that kind of situation?
Yeah, absolutely. Something that the Giants hadn't had on tape, but just NFL blueprint, field goal block, like you said, Brock, you got to be aware for that type of stuff.
How do you feel like the special teams phase of the game through what are we at now? 5 games, the 6 on Thursday night. Where do you feel like the special teams as a group is at?
I think it's a microcosm of our football team. There's a lot of great things on tape, and then there's a lot of situations where they're helping us win football games, and then there's some kind of high leverage plays that have hurt us as well. So. That's where it's at. That's our team. I mean, it's guys are working. You turn the tape on, and you leave the game, and you're upset because you lost. But I will tell you this: the guys are fighting, man. They are playing hard, and it's our job as coaches to make it come to life. To make sure the execution's there. Like anytime it's not the way you want it on tape. I mean, that's our responsibility. So. Special teams wise, defense, offense, all 3 phases.
How much of a role do you have in the offensive tempo? I know you're not calling plays, but
a very big role. Very big role. It's not on a per play basis, but it's how we want to play games, and not every time that we're on the ball we're snapping it. Mm-hmm. So you are utilizing clock to a certain extent. So I think it's a per game on how you want to, try to. Manage the game.
Are you involved in that series to series of, hey, I'd like to go up tempo here. I want to make sure we slow it down.
Yeah, of course.
So that's part of the give and take and conversation with Grubb during the game.
Yep.
And it was such a wacky game, as you mentioned there, so few plays. And I know you were asked about it yesterday, Mike, at the press conference, of just the number of run plays, right? Just the number of touches for Ken as you kind of go back now and study the ebbs and flows of that entire game. Anything jump out to you in the run game and just the lack of at-bats?
Well, yeah, to your point, Brock, you got to have more at-bats in the run game. We got to give the ball to K9 more, period. I mean, it's just Zach as well. It's just there's no going around it. There's definitely going back at it some more opportunities as drives start to get going where we can kind of get back to normal operation and make sure we're giving Ken the ball. So again, those are gonna vary from game to game, but we can't be just handing the ball off to him 5 times. So that's a disservice to him.
How did your O-line come through that game?
Well, again, you're dropping back a ton and you give up 7 sacks. A couple of them are a function of like where they're at in the game, and Gino's holding on to the ball because they're trying to push it downfield. But I think we're on the right track with those guys. Again, you watch the film, and there's things we need to clean up technique-wise, and some other things in the run game. We missed one ID in the pass game, and we want to attack those things. So just like the rest of the team, it's simple. It's not there yet. It needs to be there, but it's not. So what are you going to do? You got to go make it. You got to go make it right. You got to stay the course, and go work.
Do you look at fumbles as more of a mental thing or a physical thing? Are fumbles about physical or are they about concentration?
Both. Absolutely. On both sides of the ball. You can't just be shooting your shot, trying to force fumbles on defense. You start missing a bunch of tackles. So there's ways when the ball does come to life in certain areas. Normally it's when you're going to the ground, which we saw with DK in both of his fumbles. So something that I know that he's aware of. And, we'd have to protect the ball better when we're going to the ground.
Mike Salk will drop some Ralph Waldo Emerson on me. He'll drop some Latin. He'll drop some Latin on me. I'll try to take some notes of these things and use them. You said something earlier I wrote down. I want to make sure I got it right because I do like it. You said the methods are adjustable, but the principle is
set in stone.
What does that? Can you help me understand that? What that looks like and what that means?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's hey, you want to have a growth mindset on how you do things, but you want to stick to your rock solid foundation. And so, us as a team, we use all these terms like chasing edges and things like that. So, what are the things and how we operate? All that stuff it's not debatable, but it's up for discussion on what's the best for us. All those things. When you practice, how many reps, what reps you do, how you handle walkthroughs, all that stuff. But the principle of the matter is the focus, the intent, how we play, our mentality, things like that. That you say, hey, no, we're hanging our hat on. This is who we're going to be, and we're going to go down swinging with those principles.
I think one of those principles that'll come to life Thursday night, because it's what Shanahan, just that very name, has always said for decades of running the football and getting back to stopping that run, right? What are some of the principles as we lean into Thursday night? Just the principles that go in to stopping the run and making sure, it's not 170 and 180 and 5 yards of carry and some of the things that we've seen this year. What are the very principles that go into that?
I mean, there's principles of what we believe in the run game is staying square at the point of attack, all 11 guys, setting the edge, having a firm, knocking them back inside out, and then making the tackle. You have to be able to leverage the football. Now, what scheme you're in and when you move and where you put guys and all that stuff, that's on per game. That's offense based and what you feel like you're doing well defensively and who's out there for you on personnel wise. But this team, if you're not careful, they can gash you in a hurry, and you can play 15 plays well in a row, and the 16th play it creases you and you got to get it on the ground. So they're a really good operation. I've had a ton of respect for these guys. I've been going against Kyle Shanahan since 2014, and so I mean, he's familiar with what we do. We're familiar with what he does, and we got to go out. We got to go out play him. I mean, that's just the simple fact of the matter.
You mentioned those 4 principles of stopping the run. Are there ones that you're doing well right now as a team, and ones you're struggling with?
We're not leveraging the ball well on the second level as well as we need to be. I think for the most part, our interior guys are fighting their tails off. Our edge mechanics are, for the most part, are playing pretty well. Things we want to improve on in that front, but the second level run fits right now is we're falling short.
Any idea, Coach? I know it's early and the guys probably aren't even in the building yet, but any idea with a quick Thursday turnaround how guys came out of it? I know Leonard fought his butt off to get out there and play yesterday, and the guys obviously banged up, but any sense of A, how guys came out of it, and B, what could be back maybe Thursday?
There's not a lot of news on this front right now, Brock. I think Chenna's might be longer than we wanted with his thigh, and then I'm not sure about Derek Hall. We'll get some news on that one, and I'm not sure about Requilm, but I think I'm not sure about. I haven't heard anything on Leo's front. I'm confident it came out clear, but I don't know at this point.
Do you have a sense as to whether you'll get Boye back at practice this week?
And Boye, I'm not sure what to do. I'm not sure on his front as well.
The NFL doesn't care, does it?
Yeah, doesn't seem to care.
The
Doesn't
NFL
care.
just moves on, man.
Yeah, that's right.
You said you've been going against Shanahan forever. What is it that sets that scheme apart? What has made him so effective throughout the years?
I think it's the aggressive, I'd say the violence and precision on how they run their run game is really good. They hang their hat on what they do, and I think the thing that you respect most about it's like they've taken their system that they like. You turn on the 2014 tape, and a lot of the same blocking schemes, but how they get there is really evolved, and how they utilize their personnel is unique. Similar to like what Mike McDaniel's done in Miami a little bit. And then they've done their spin on it with because they have more speed and things like that. So they do a great job.
Coach, we appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. We'll do it twice this week. You get to hang out with us twice, which is just awesome. We'll get to do this.
When's the next one?
We're going to do it on Friday after the Thursday night
Okay,
game.
all right.
Yeah.
All right, good
and then
deal.
you'll get a whole week off of us, which will be even better. So, Coach, we appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. We'll do it on Friday. And, Brock, we'll get out of here as well. The hay
is in the barn.
See everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy.
Jackson Smith and Jigba is joining us right now. What's it been like with a new offense?
It's been great. I've been loving the coaching staff. They've been, working with us real well. We've been meshing real well. And, I had a good feeling, during training camp and when I first got here. And it's exceeded my expectations. So, we just got to take advantage of everything that we have and just try to put our best foot forward.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
It's Fight Night, live boxing at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. A full evening of boxing action, Saturday, October 19th. Make it a destination event. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this evening of pure excitement. The best in professional boxing. It's Fight Night, October 19th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly.
And this week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to Lonnie. Lonnie, why did you call First Mark Insurance?
We've been with the same insurance company for over 32 years. And my husband said, come on, let's at least try it. And that was the smartest thing we ever did because we saved thousands, literally thousands a year on our insurance. They improved it. It cost me less, and it was a higher value. I can't say enough good things about Scott because everything that he said he'd do, he did.
What do you tell your friends they can expect when they make the call to First Mark?
An easy, profitable, and actually pleasant call.